That's right. Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
And welcome to the show where we wax poetic about the movies we see on a month to month basis. It's time to crack open our. Ooh, it's shiny. Hold on. Yeah, sorry, I was gonna do a bit. Ooh, look, Dragon, this edition is shiny and golden and Oscar-y. It's our February edition of Movie Memoirs. That did not go well. Wow.
No, it didn't go well.
All right, chew me out. Chew me out. Go ahead. It's fine.
Just anyway.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So, Dragon, we have a lot to get to. Let's just get things started with. Hold on. You know what, Dragon? I'm gonna just for your benefit, just for your sake, I'm just gonna change it from the news to the news. All right.
Okay.
That's my makeup. That's my apology from me to you.
Right. That's an apology. Sure. That makes up for just like, hey, let's just try stuff that's not in the script. Sure, let's just do that. All right. So.
All right. So, what do we have on the docket, Dragon?
All right, let's see. So, of course, good news. No one died. Well, at least no one in our circles died. But, you know, we're kind of leading off with kind of the less good news to the controversial news to the awesome news, as we kind of we like to build ourselves up here. We like to go up the mountain. Okay, so we're going to start with some bad news. Disney, they shut down Blue Sky.
Okay, Dragon, I have very mixed feelings about this, but I am not nearly as freaked out as some other people are about it. I don't know. To me, I feel like I don't know. Like I said, I have mixed feelings, but with Blue Sky, I don't want to diminish them as an animation studio, but like for years, it just always felt like they were kind of just leaning in on the Ice Age franchise. And look, I'm sure that the people that work on that franchise, you know, do really good work in terms of the actual animation of it all, and that's the element that I always respect the most in the medium. And it's always sad to see jobs lost, of course, and that's the element where I'm very mixed on, you know, because you know, it's sad to see animators lose work, and you know, hopefully the folks will be able to go on and prosper at bigger and better studios in the future. But, you know, outside of Ice Age Dragon, just really quick, let's just kind of like, I'd say you and I, let's just plant our flag right now that the Peanuts movie was their masterpiece.
Absolutely. I mean, ultimately with this news, I mean, this was inevitable. There's no way Disney was going to keep the lights on with Blue Sky. It's sad but true. There was an inevitability, but it's a shame they couldn't have gone out on something like the Peanuts as kind of the last gas in the tank versus.
I wanted a holiday Peanuts movie, Dragon. That's what I wanted. You know,
that would have been sweet. But that's what I'm saying. It's a shame we couldn't have gone on the insane high note that was the Peanuts movie, and instead we ended on Spies in Disguise.
Oh God! Really? That's the last one.
That's the last one. That is it. Maybe it's short, but I'm pretty sure that's it. Yeah.
You know what? I can live with that just because Spies in Disguise is such a meme of a movie that it's like if we have to go out on something, at least it's not like Ice Age 7 or something.
Well, I haven't seen Spies in Disguise. What I can say is that I appreciate the work that went into Spies in Disguise. Just looking at the animation from the bits I have got. I mean, again, while I don't agree with like the twist necessarily, it's like, you know what, they made that trailer look really impressive.
Me right now, Walter.
Well, you know, and again, even the pigeon animation seemed pretty accurate. But again, you know, it's just anyway. But and again, Blue Sky did really solid work towards the beginning. Seriously, they really did. No one highlights what Blue Sky did in the early years. They did some bang up stuff in the early years.
Yeah, definitely.
Your robots. Chris Wedge was one of the great animators for sure. I'm not saying like, you know, that he's gone or anything, but you know, Chris Wedge, you know, this is a guy who was inspired by Toy Story to animate, man. He was like one of the guys there on Ground Zero, like in the reactionary sphere of animators. So Chris Wedge is.
I remember the first time that I saw the trailer for Ice Age, and of course it was basically just like the short film with Scrat. Little did I know that Scrat would become like this big, like, you know, kind of like pop culture presence. But Dragon, the whole vibe I got was like, oh man, this is really cool because this is you know, this is the closest that I've seen to Looney Tunes in a 3-dimensional space. And that's absolutely the vibe I got from that Ice Age trailer. So that's kind of what I think of when I think of Blue Sky in terms of just like, they know how to they have the comedy down pretty well, especially when they try new ideas.
And again, they really, again, especially in those early movies, basically at the end, you look at robots. Robots had wonderful world building and
I
Elva
need to
Grace put
revisit
into it.
Robots Dragon.
I have a
It's been a
tremendous
long
soft
time.
spot. I have a tremendous soft spot for robots. Again, one of my
Uh,
favorite. I love Stanley Tucci's character in Robots.
of
Herb
course, Robin
Copperbottom.
Williams.
I mean, certainly. I'm saying no one. Seriously, Stanley Tucci's performance as Herb Copperbottom.
Tooch.
Yeah, and Tucci melts my heart in that movie. It's such a beautiful father-son story in Robots. But anyway, yeah. So unfortunately, Blue Sky no longer with us. It's now become a Blue Sky. One could say. All right. So let's see now. Some vaguely controversial. So JJ Abrams and
Dragon, can I just wave up a white flag on this? Can I just plead the fifth?
Do you want me to say what the news is before you wave the flag?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so we got some DC news. J.J. Abrams and Ta-Nehisi Coates reportedly they're working, they're producing and writing this HBO Max Superman film that's in development right now. So the idea is Ta-Nehisi Coates, who is he's a writer who's going to comics, and he's kind of a big influence on Black Panther, and he's writing the current Captain America run. He's going to be writing the Superman film with Abrams producing. Now, we've seen what happens before when Abrams when Abrams produces a movie. He says, "No, I'm not going to direct." So I won't say he's not the director yet, but I'm just going to play a wait and see.
I'm so scared. I mean, Abrams is look. The other guy does sound really promising. I will say that much. But man, J.J. Abrams, I will say that J.J. Abrams needs to have a redemption arc, Like, if he wants to come back, I feel like the ball is in his court for a redemption arc. Because I got to tell you, man, he's kind of at the low of lows in his career in terms of batting averages.
It is true. I mean, right now Abrams is kind of in the doghouse. I feel bad for him. I really do. It's like poor JJ.
But you know what? You know what? With the Superman thing, I mean, he is a massive Superman fan. I assume, right? Like, I could only speculate, but
I believe so. And here's why. Here's the thing. When I heard Abrams' name attached to Superman, I got a little excited because I can't lie. I'm curious if Abrams ends up, especially if he ends up directing this thing, because Abrams Do you remember Abrams pitched the Superman flyby thing? He was like around the Superman Lives era, one of the other Superman movies.
I remember Abrams' name attached to that. I haven't really looked into the details of it.
Yeah, like he was heading this. He was pitching. I believe he wrote it. And it was either he might have been planned to direct as well as either just direct or write and direct the Superman flyby thing that was in development, which was going to be really going to change a lot of things. It's going to be really kind of a fresher take on Superman, which sounded really interesting. And, that's the thing. It was kind of like after Superman Lives, they were kind of looking at other concepts, like before we get Superman Returns. That's kind of the era this is in. So I'm curious about that. Now, here's the thing that kind of gobsmacked me once this news came out about Ta-Nehisi Coates. I've heard nothing but positive things about Ta-Nehisi Coates. Apparently, that's not the case anymore. Yeah, here's the thing. Some people are they're kind of hot and cold on Ta-Nehisi Coates. They either view his work as really passionate or really one-sided because he does write a lot about kind of race relations, apparently. And some people, yeah. So the big reason this, you wonder why the controversy? Well, here's why. Because the media, in announcing this news and knowing that Ta-Nehisi Coates, he's very very well known for kind of like mainly the Black Panther run, but even before that, he did a lot of kind of great kind of articles and pieces on Black culture. And actually, from what I heard, he was one of the influences behind the HBO Watchmen as well. Damon Lindelof, he read Ta-Nehisi Coates' article essentially about the reparations from stuff like from Tulsa. So in fact, he kind of gave him the light bulb along with Mark Millar and told him to give it a shot. So Coates is kind of responsible for HBO Watchmen in a sense, which is
interesting.
Great.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
So what I'm saying here is, so Ta-Nehisi Coates is kind of tied to telling really really awesome Black stories. Now, this has kind of led people to make the thing people have speculated for years of Michael B. Jordan as Superman, that, hey, are we going to get Black Superman finally? So you can imagine people have opinions about this.
Okay, you just saw my reaction to it, Dragon. I don't give a flying F about the race. Michael B. Jordan is freaking perfect in that role. I'm sorry, that's my reaction to it. But yeah, like if anyone else has another reaction to it based on Michael B. Jordan as an actor, fine. But with the race thing, it's freaking ridiculous
And just
because
to be clear, like they haven't officially said Michael B. Jordan. I'm just saying he was the one they've always speculated. If they do a black Superman, it should be Michael B.
Yeah,
Jordan.
I'm just saying like someone like on caliber with Michael B. Jordan, which I could only hope that they would go with. I'm sorry, I just got excited with the Michael B. Jordan thing, Dragon.
Sure. I mean, here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. So, my fear is that basically the problem is now they're boxed into a corner because now whatever story they were going to tell, and again, like Ta-Nehisi Coates isn't necessarily just a black exclusive writer, as in like he's doing the Captain America run right now, like not Sam Wilson, straightforward Steve Rogers.
I think this could be a Joker thing, Dragon. I think this could be a one-off kind of multiverse kind of deal.
Well, that's the thing. It being on HBO Max, that is entirely possible. But here's the other thing to consider. Since you bring up the multiverse, I'm so glad you did, because that was my next point. So the other side of this, and this is my fear, is that I think given the Flash movie that they're in quotes doing, this Flash movie, which is going to be kind of their answer to Doctor Strange 2, and essentially,
their answer to Avatar 2 because of how long it's taking.
Pretty much, but the whole them doing kind of like somehow turning Flashpoint into a multiverse story, like Crisis. However, they're doing that. My point is that would open the door to doing Earth 2 stuff and do all the multiple Earths and all the multiverse stuff, which would in multiverse stories there are Black Supermen, which could be really interesting. For example, there's Calvin Ellis, which that's the Superman that was president, which I read his comic. It did not sway me. I only gave it one issue. I felt it was kind of a gimme, like, hey, look what we did. We're paralleling real life at the time. Ooh.
Oh God.
Well, it's basically what if a black Superman were president, which again, I think I'm excited for them to sell me on a story like that. That's what interests me about if they went that route, especially with a multiverse door being open with this Flash movie, or the other black Superman, which is Val Zod, which essentially is like a General Zod on Krypton sort of thing. Like, what if one of the Kryptonian descendants was, which they kind of toyed with on that Krypton show on Sci-Fi, where Zod was black on that show, and it's kind of interesting sort of like layer to the Superman story. Anyway, I'm saying I might have been more open to that. I'm not shutting down like this Black Superman thing. I think if they're ever going to try out a Black Superman, HBO Max is absolutely the platform to do it. My fear is that now they have no choice because now everyone's expecting a Black Superman. You know what I mean? It's like if they said, well, no, we weren't going to do that, but now if we don't do that, everyone's going to be mad.
I said, Dragon, I think it just depends on the casting. So it's like if they need to do it, and if people are expecting them to do it, just get someone who fits the role. I really don't see what the big deal is with that.
I mean, sure. I mean, it could work out for sure. I just feel like
call me a blind freaking optimist, Dragon. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, either way, I'm sure it's going to work out. It's just going to be like this lingering question of like, what
Dragon, I will say that Abrams is much more of a wild card in this faction than the potential Black Superman thing. All right, that's all I'm going to say about it. Like as far as something about the project that I'm worried about, I'm sorry, JJ, but you've got some explaining to do.
And so far, again, he's not directing yet. So just producing, but we've seen how that goes.
Yeah,
we've seen what happens there. So one thing, things are a little tense with Superman at the moment, but I mean, like, if they want to go Black Superman, I think that's, especially if they get Michael B. Jordan, that could be really cool. So I mean, we'll see what happens there. Just wait and see. Also, a little side note, not really much to say here, is that in that Flashpoint movie, in quotes, because it's getting less and less like Flashpoint as they keep revealing details about it. Hence this casting. Hey, Supergirl's going to be in it. Where's Reverse Flash? But hey, Supergirl.
All right, so really quick, Dragon. Well, it's probably not going to be quick because Claude is just laying out the news, Dragon. He seems more prepared than us, frankly. Dragon, do you mind if we bullet point through some of the
Sure. Let's bullet. Yeah.
All right, Claude Karinga's News Corner. All right. So, Cynthia Erivo will be playing the Blue Fairy, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt will be playing Jiminy Cricket in live-action Disney's Pinocchio. I'm not excited for live-action Disney Pinocchio. I'm more excited for the Guillermo del Toro version.
Guillermo del Toro, yes.
But JGL, I think, is a perfect Jiminy Cricket. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm really interested by the Joseph Gordon-Levitt casting, and if that's true, that semes to confirm that Tom Hanks must be Geppetto then.
Yeah.
Because he can't be Jiminy Cricket.
So we will see. Okay, Benjamin And then Amsworth will voice Pinocchio. I have no idea who that is. I'm sorry.
Might be like just a young kid unknown or something. I don't know.
Keegan Michael Key will voice Honest John, which again is perfect casting. Perfect casting. Lorraine Bracco will voice Sophia the Seagull, a new character. And I really
you know
like
Lorraine Bracco, don't you?
Yeah, I do, definitely. Yeah. So that's, and then let's see. So Ursula will be more like an aunt or an aunt. I'm sorry, she's not going to be. Can you imagine Ursula and Ant-Man? But no, she's going to be more like an aunt to Ariel in Disney's Little Mermaid, which I am intrigued by Little Mermaid too. That's one of the ones that, like, out of all the remakes, I do have it kind of on my radar. And Dragon Claude is buzzing about Paramount Plus, man. Claude is a Paramount Plus cheerleader here. He's saying,
well, we have massive Paramount Plus news that we're going to build to, but yeah.
Oh, do you want to? We have it on.
Let's just save all the. Remember, the last story is big Paramount Plus things. Let's just save all the Paramount Plus that Claude's throwing at us for when we get to the end of the news.
Okay. Right? So sounds good. Okay.
So the rise of Paramount. Okay.
The rise of Paramount. Yes. Okay. So Dragon Spider-Man.
As a title,
no place like home. Dragon, what did you think of Spy? Oh God, what was it? What was the really trolling one?
I have the two. There are a whole bunch of those. I have the two that were sounded like they were actually going to happen. Okay, so
just the first two, yeah.
Okay, Spider-Man Phone Home.
Spider-Man Phone Home was the one that when I saw it, I was like, it's probably a joke, but if it happened, I would love it.
Okay, and here's one that to me was like the lesser of two evils that I think could have worked, but we ended up with a much better one. This was Spider-Man Homewrecker.
I don't. Yeah,
I'm saying, like, in a worst case scenario, again, had we not have gotten
Phone Home would not have been the worst case scenario.
Oh, come on, everyone would have mocked it endlessly.
Well, people already mock the home moniker endlessly, anyways. I mean, it's not even anyway. So
anyway, okay. So here's the title we actually did get. So we had this. Yes, so we had this really cute reveal video where, like, our three leads, Jacob Battleton, Zendaya and Tom Holland. They're basically walking out of the Marvel office as if he got sent to the principal's office by Feige or something. Like, I don't know why they're worried about spoilers. When's the last time I spoiled? It's like, well, the name of the last movie. Like, all right. So they go past this board with all the home pun names.
I assume that's true.
Yeah, but essentially, yeah. Tom Holland he's really edgy in these interviews these days. If you see him, he really sweats when he's doing the interviews because he and Ruffalo are always the security leaks. They always all the eyes are on them. So they have this board with all these names like Phone Home and Homewrecker, but in the center circle and everything was No Way Home. A really nice reveal. I like the title. I think it's really solid.
Yeah, honestly, and it's kind of.
I understand how none of us thought about this. This is a really solid title.
I'm saying. Like, out of all the guesses, and it seems like when you think about it, it seems kind of obvious because it's like, right, Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home. It seems like a natural progression, Dragon, and I'm satisfied with it.
Yeah, I like No Way Home because it's twofold. It covers the same story any way you slice it. At the very least, there's no going back to status quo. That's what that title implies to me. Of course, the other literal interpretation of it would be the multiverse. It basically kind of plays into the multiverse angle, assuming there still will be a multiverse angle.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there.
No, because they keep going back and forth on it, and I don't know. The point being, however they do it, we're not going back to status quo, so the title reflects it.
And after WandaVision, no spoilers, but
yeah,
I can't. We'll see.
We'll see what happens. Ditch the Ursula thing for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, let's see. So, again, beyond that, some more Marvel, more MCU news.
I gotta go grab a drink really quick. So, can you cover this really quick while I step out for a second?
If I said no, what would happen? No, yes, of course.
All right.
All right. Anyway, yes. So, in MCU news on Disney Plus, there is a new series in development in the works. It is Wakanda. I mean, what month is more appropriate than Black History Month to announce we're doing a Wakanda series? That's awesome. Yeah, so apparently Ryan Coogler's involved. He's one of the guys developing it, which is good because if it wasn't in his hands, it'd be really weird given how how much he's made Black Panther a really personal project for him. Really kind of made it sing. Of course, excellent director. I hope it works like Agent Carter, where might direct an episode or two, or we'll see what happens, or maybe he's going to write them all. I don't know. But yeah, so working on Wakanda series could be really cool. I mean, I don't know when exactly it's going to be set, or if it's going to be like a full anthology thing. Because obviously we have right now we have Shuri, we got Okoye, and of course we have other characters like the Daniel Kaluuya character. I'm sure we'd explore a lot of people in Wakanda, other stories, and plus maybe like the other Black Panthers, or various Black Panthers throughout history of Wakanda. So there's a lot of angles and avenues to explore. We might see what Okoye was doing as the leader of Wakanda for this season. For all I know, they could have multiple seasons. This idea has endless potential. So Wakanda series is awesome and a really nice way to kind of keep kind of the Black Panther property alive, while of course while we lost the original king, so to speak, with King T'Challa. So I like how we're looking at other avenues to keep it going. All right. And moving on to some other Disney Plus news. So release dates. So we have 2 release dates. Loki. We know Loki is coming June 11th, which I believe means it was delayed, and I don't know if because of WandaVision or whatnot. It got pushed back to. We thought it was coming in May, got pushed to June 11th. But hey, it's a date. So June 11th versus just like vaguely May.
Okay, I'm back.
Yes. And I guess it makes sense because like in May we're supposed to get Black Widow, so then the next month we have more Marvel. So I'm not going to fight that. Hey.
No, Dragon. I'm honestly really excited about the rollout here, and I think WandaVision proved that they can make a new leap forward into the into, let's call them mini series. That's what I would describe them as, because if WandaVision proves that maybe we're not going to go the season 2 route, I think it's fair to say that these mini series are really laying a great foundation. And with Black Widow, I'm going into Black Widow with some reservations. I'm excited for David Harbour. I'm excited for Florence Pugh, of course, but I just don't know how it's going to fit into the grander storyline in an exciting way. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Loki, I'm excited about. We'll see what happens. But yeah, overall, I'm just. It's great that we're getting a lot of consistency with Disney Plus moving forward. It took them a couple of years, Dragon, but I feel like they're finally on the ball with that.
Yeah, also, the other release date we have is for the Monsters Inc. TV show, Monsters at Work, which is coming July 2nd, which would be again, this year times out to be the 20th anniversary of Monsters Inc., so how appropriate.
Okay, and also, this is breaking news if this is true. Clyde Coringa says Star Wars The Bad Batch will have its premiere as it hits Disney Plus on May the 4th.
Yes, that is true. That's what I'm saying. So far, Disney Plus, I'm really impressed with how Disney Plus has structured their rollouts because you got something in May with Black Widow in on Disney Plus. You got Bad Batch. You get June, you get Loki. July, you get Monsters at Work. So yeah, we have quite the rollout.
Like I said, it took a couple of years. Remember when? I mean, with all due respect to Goldblum, those early episodes were a lot of fun, but there was a time when Goldblum was one of the headliners, and I love Goldblum, but it's great that we're getting this top tier content right now. And Jason Momoa being offered the voice of Knuckles in Sonic 2. I'm down for it. As long as he doesn't just copy the whole bro Chacho thing with Aquaman. As long as he goes,
my man, look at those sneakers go.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Dragon. Thank you. As long as he doesn't just carbon copy that, I'm okay with it. All right.
Let's see. Okay, so here's some biopic news.
I love this. This is the most exciting. Dragon, we're such geeks that this is probably the most exciting news of the month for us.
We're geeks on many levels for this because one, we're big biopic nerds, and secondly, we love the show, the assembled, kind of the show and the stuff involved with the thing they're making the biopic on. So,
yes.
Being the Ricardos, the Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball biopic, and emphasis on not quite I Love Lucy, but more so the behind the scenes of I Love Lucy from what we can tell at this juncture. We have cast our Fred Nethel. We've cast Bill Frawley and Vivian Vance. Tiki, who are they?
Okay, I can reveal Bill Frawley. You reveal Vivian Vance. Okay.
All right, go on.
So Bill Frawley. Oh my God, this is perfect. It's so perfect. It's so perfect. J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I love
The
seriously, I love
second I
Bill.
saw that news, I was just like, okay, Being the Ricardos was already one of my most anticipated of I don't want to say the year because knock on wood it actually comes out this year.
Exactly.
But it's one of my most anticipated of the upcoming stuff that we know is actually being worked on. And and then J.K. Simmons comes along is I think easily the most polarizing and fascinating character in this whole story, I think. And someone who just fits J.K. Simmons kind of like bravado and veracity quite well. I am so excited for this movie now, Dragon. I'm geeking out about this movie.
You know me, I love Bill Frawley. I love him when he pops up in the epic style movies from time to time, and I love it. There's the Fred Mertz character, of course.
I
J.K.
saw him
Simmons. What's
pop
not
up
to love?
in Andy Griffith randomly when I was in Florida, and Sandy and I were marathoning Andy Griffith on TV Land.
But yeah, it's always great when they couldn't have gotten a more perfect actor for it. J.K. Simmons, he already looks a little bit like Fred Mertz. I don't know if they're gonna pat him or like have him they put on some weight or whatnot, but he's perfect for it. All right, let's see. So, and Vivian Vance being played by I actually know this actress, Nina.
Oh, do you? Okay, good.
Ariandol, if I'm saying that right. Nina Ariandol. So she's great. She's had some biopic work as well. So she is. Do you remember the movie Tower Heist like at all?
I have not seen it. I know of it.
Okay, let me ask you this: did you see the Stan and you saw Stan and Ollie, right?
Yes, I saw Stan and Ollie. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So she was. Okay. Remember. With the one Steve Coogan played. That was Ollie, right? Wait. No, that was Stan Laurel. Stan Laurel.
All right.
I'm asking you, it was Stan Laurel, right?
I don't, Dragon. I just get to the point. I'm sorry.
The wife of one of the duo. Yes, the wife. She was in The Wife in that movie, the foreign one. Anyway. Okay, so Nina Ariel points. I've seen her pop up in movies. I think she's really good. And looking at her, she does kind of have a Vivian Vance quality. So she could be really good. She can be really funny too. Really, really good actress. I think it's in good hands.
Cool. Claude, really quick, what is Chippendale Park Life? That just reminds me of Blur. Just the band Blur comes to mind. Park Life. But is that Rescue Rangers, Claude? Is that Rescue Rangers related that you know of? Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, so that brings us to the big story, which will kind of chain into a bunch of this Paramount stuff. So just to start things out with the big stuff. Avatar coming back in a big way. Avatar: Last Airbender. So, of course, the only Avatar that matters, not the Avatar, says, "Hey, it's coming out this year." No, Cameron.
Series Dragon. Can we just pretend that's not happening?
Well, hey, Knitsko and Di Martino aren't on it, so I don't really care. Anyway, but no, so the Avatar: Last Airbender, it's coming back in a big way. We're not talking about the Netflix show, folks. No, we're absolutely getting an animated movie, presumably with our Avatar pals. I don't know if they're going to adapt like the Search for Zuko's Mom or some of the comic stuff that happens right after, the finale of Avatar. I'm not sure. They haven't said details. All they said is like they're doing a movie, but they've also, this is what blew my mind. This is what Claudia was alluding to earlier. Also, we're not just getting the movie; we're getting the whole studio. We're getting Avatar Studios, and this kind of gobsmacked me. It makes me a little nervous because it's a lot they're announcing. We are getting more Avatar series in the universe.
Essentially, a whole Avatar cinematic universe.
Exactly. We're getting series and movies. Apparently, they've used it in plural, so we're getting a couple movies. We're getting series again, just basically throughout the Avatar universe. Of course, now I'm open to this because the Avatar universe, as we know, the reincarnation cycle of the Avatars, this is very open territory. At the very least,
yeah, it's rich, man. They the way that they set it up is like I love Avatar because it's simple, but there's a lot of mythology that they can pack on top of the very simple structure.
We're getting Kyoshi.
Oh yeah, I know.
We gotta get Avatar Kyoshi. I hope that's like the first one, but we're getting Kyoshi, man. So and all this being part of Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus, they're really trying to compete with Disney Plus, and basically, again, CBS All Access basically rebranded, being the Paramount Plus. Well, in case anyone's curious, like there's another one. No, they just rebranded. It's the same one, but now it's going to be awesome. It seems. instead of just kind of like lame rehashing of desperate Star Trek shows.
Wait, is this going to be like CBS All Access related?
As far as I know, Tiki, yeah, they basically reskinned CBS All Access. It's
Oh
Paramount Plus.
man, son of a bitch! Now I'm gonna have to have a reason to. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get it. I'm gonna have to get it.
Well,
Now
I'd
because
wait for the shows to be there, but yeah.
no, I know I was gonna wait for the shows to be there anyways, but like now I have the Survivor back catalog there too. Yeah, like yeah,
Yeah, they already
that's
before the Avatar news, they had me for something else on Paramount Plus, which Claudia alluded to earlier with Frasier. The Frasier
yeah, that's a big get.
is the Frasier reunion. Well, not a reunion, but kind of the revival. So it's going to be like I imagine the story is going to be Frasier moving in with his son, growing up, basically paralleling these.
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
That has always been the assumption. They haven't said clear cut. That's what it's going to be. That's always been like the fan assumption,
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm very looking. Man, I'm a huge Frasier fan. I love the Kells, so I'm absolutely sold on this. At the very least, when they do like a free trial or something, I'm down there for Frasier. But then they have this. They're dropping this Avatar news on me, and then like the Rugrats. Did you see the CG Rugrats thing I told you about?
I did. It looks good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm nervous about it, but it's like I mean, I get it. It's back. I mean, but it's different, but it's back.
The animation style, Dragon. I know you're not a Nintendo guy, but Nintendo made these games that kind of like had this handcrafted aesthetic to them. Yoshi's Woolly World, and then Yoshi's Crafted World, and then I think there's also a Kirby one, like a Kirby's Epic Yarn. And this kind of has that same aesthetic, that kind of like handcrafted aesthetic, and I like it. And I think it fits the series well.
Sure. Let's see. So a couple of things. You're not gonna go through every single thing, but just a few of the ones jump out to me. Animaniacs got renewed for season 3 because we already knew season 2 was coming, I believe.
Yeah, that's good. They're pretty confident in it.
Okay, here's some exciting news I forgot about. So I'm glad Claudia reminded me about this. I think you and I definitely you got to check out at some point if you can.
Okay.
The Modoc series. So the Modoc series on Hulu is coming May 21st.
Man, I can't afford these streaming services, bro.
All right. I keep forgetting that some of these at a time you had these and now not so much. That's what I'm forgetting. But yeah, the seriously, this Modoc show. It's the
Plus is the only one that I'm loyal to, man.
Yeah, I'm looking so forward to this Modoc show because basically Modoc and the Mundane. That's like the subtitle this show should be. It's basically Modoc, voiced by Patton Oswalt. It's stop motion. It looks great. It's basically Modoc in suburbia. We see Marvel characters in suburbia. It usually works really well. He's trying to run AIM, the AIM business from home. It's like it's struggling, it's fledgling. He's trying to run it with his wife and kids, and it's hilarious. I can't wait for it. And as I don't know if I thought we mentioned this last month. I guess we didn't. So Infinity Train, we're getting more of that since Infinity Train Book 4 was confirmed as well.
Thank God. Thank God. That's all I have to say about that.
Again, 4 down, 4 more to go because they promised 8 seasons. You know why 8 seasons, Claudia? It's because when you get the number 8, you turn sideways. It's infinity. I'm not making that up. Owen Dennis has said that. So anyway, okay. So Boy's like, yeah, they were getting a lot of Avatar and a lot of stuff on Paramount Plus, kind of trying to become the new Superman. I got to tell you, just in theories, them announcing all this stuff. I mean, I won't believe it until I see it. But just all this stuff sounds amazing. It sounds like that's actually a superpower that can make Disney Plus kind of quiver.
No, it genuinely does seem like must-see streaming.
This is a monument to the 90s and the early 2000s they're building on Paramount Plus. This is like there's going to be a legion there.
Oh, boy. All right. Dragon, I'm sorry, but you and I, we're part of that legion.
Oh, we are. I have no doubt. I mean, they had me with Frasier. They got me with Avatar. We're there. All right, so that's all the major news. I think we got it there. We got Modoc in there. All right.
Okay. TV, Dragon, TV.
Gonna shift from talking about TV to actually TV.
WandaVision, WandaVision.
WandaVision. Anyway, yes. So WandaVision.
One of the big reasons this is on the list is that I wanted to talk specifically about my rewatch of the entire series going into the finale, and which was incredibly satisfying, bro. It's incredibly satisfying. I think this show, I have mixed feelings about the finale in some regards, but in other regards, I think it was a really good kind of stick to landing on an emotional level and on a character building level, and that's the important thing. But I will say that just the build up from episode 1 to episode 8, like the black and white kind of like sitcom aesthetic, just showing exactly how we got to that moment. Just fucking beautiful, Dragon. One of the best character arcs, one of the best reveals of the MCU. I'm loving it. And I just think that Wanda Maximoff going forward, I can't say anything with the, in regards to spoilers, but it's just, I think it's really impressive what they've managed to build here.
Yes, for me, just overall, without giving anything away, WandaVision, Tiki, in retrospect, now that we've gone through the whole thing, it's such a lucky turn of fate, given all the bad stuff that's happened in basically a year and change so far. I guess, technically, yeah, the past year, because we still got to get the March before the anniversary of Doomsday, but, essentially the past year. It's such a lucky turn of fate that we ended up kicking off, because originally we were going to start with Falcon Winter Soldier. I'm still very majorly hyped for, mind you, but I'm just saying the turn of fate of starting things off with WandaVision as our way of starting off Phase 4 with kind of the celebration of television and bringing the MCU to television in kind of a proper celebrated way, not just like a story you want to tell that happens to be on television. No, we're gonna bring the MCU to television in a big mythic way, and use it as like a commentary on TV, and essentially in doing so revitalize event TV again, which is what we've done now. People like this is like the water cooler show. The Boys was kind of that. This is like
Disney Plus multiple times.
Yeah, that's like Luke Cage did it once. This did it multiple times. But this is. But that's what I'm saying. We've revitalized event TV again. That's kind of a special thing. Like families and people at work. They're all people at home at work. They're coming around. They're talking about things by the imaginary water cooler, I guess. I just love the show as kind of like I love it as a mystery, and I love it as a love story. Basically all my Scarlet Witch dreams came true, and it's so well plotted. I love it.
All right.
All the little hearts. That's all I'll say. We're gonna move on.
Speaking of stuff that I love, Dragon, Kid Cosmic.
Yeah, Kid Cosmic. Yeah.
This just sticks out in my mind so well, Dragon. I just like. I love the aesthetic of it. I love the vibe of it. I don't know. I like Craig the Kraken. I just think this might be the best show of his career, especially if he keeps going with it and and makes a strong second season and beyond.
Yeah, streaming and the short form serialized storytelling looks great on our boy. It really does. But the Kraken, my God, he I absolutely look. Powerpuff Girls. It took. At this point, it's because it's infancy. It's one season, and we can't say it's the next Powerpuff Girls. But you know what? That takes time.
It's not trying to be the next Powerpuff
Girls.
True at all.
I know. I very much apples and oranges for sure. But what I mean is like the last superhero show that he did, and the one that had like a huge impact kind of culture. And Powerpuff Girls was everywhere. Unfortunately, not so much anymore. But it was everywhere for a while. And this, however, just as a series, this could be the best thing he's ever done. I gotta be honest. I'm so blown away narratively at what he did here, and it's different than anything he's ever done before. I love the grounded setting. I love how our narrative unfolds. It seems like you can feel how personal the story is in the Kraken. You can just feel it. It's imaginative. It's fun. There's a lot of pathos. I dig the pathos. For me, lines like, heroes help, not hurt. This guy's hitting me where I live with like these little moments, and they come back awesome. Like, extend a hand, not a fist. I love it.
Yeah.
And it's so short too. It's just they're making this. They're utilizing their time so well in these episodes. We're getting 2 more seasons. They're on the way. And it's so satisfying, man. It's just the show is so satisfying. I recommend it so highly to everyone. Everyone, check out Kid Cosmic. Give Netflix some love right now. Disney Plus is sweeping the nation. Give them give them a little dash of Kid Cosmic love, man.
Okay, so Dragon, tell them about Your Honor.
Yes. Oh my God, Your Honor. This is so this is Showtime.
You're hyped about this.
I am very hyped about this.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Oh man, this is like I say, Your Honor. This is a Showtime limited series, as in Smart Money is no extra seasons. Smart Money. So this started off as like there's an Israeli series, and they it's like how The Good Doctor is like a Korean series. They've adapted it overseas. It's an American show. And basically, the simple premise is Bryan Cranston is a judge. He's a judge. It's I don't want to give too much away, but long story short, this is a story. It's absolutely riveting TV. The audience, in my experience, it seems like the audience loves this. The critics not. Well, the critics are kind of half and half on it, but the audience loves it. It's so tense, Teak. It's 10 episodes, and the tension just kind of mounts each episode because it's just, oh god, it's like we're getting closer and closer to things being revealed, and it's like things are closing in. And Cranston here is given material to really sink his dramatic teeth into. Like Cranston, I read Cranston's autobiography a while back. I don't know. I think it was while I was watching the show. It might have been before I watched the show. And Cranston, he lives for these kind of roles, and the role that he gets here, you can tell he wanted this. This is like the kind of thing he loves. He loves, like, there's a moral complexity in this. It's very much, it's not just a ripoff of Breaking Bad, but it's kind of cut from the cloth of what you want to see Cranston do as a kind of a Walter White level character. It's
right.
He plays a judge in New Orleans who's essentially trying to save his son by making some moral compromises. And again, he's a judge, he's a really respected judge. And you get to see that, like, right at the start, like how good a guy this man is. And you're going to see some compromises, and it's going to be it's basically, if I had to shorthand it, it's Telltale TV of the highest order. It's like every episode has sort of like this character will remember this.
And that's a good, like, put it on the DVD quote.
It's Telltale TV, man. You could just put it, you can imagine it on the screen, just like, this character will remember this. Like Jimmy Baxter will remember this. It's wonderful. So the heart of the series, it's Cranston, and he's playing opposite really Michael Strohlbarg, the guy from Calling by Your Name and Shape of Water, and Steve Jobs. Yeah, he's so good. He plays he's the guy going opposite Cranston in the show. The two of them are great, and when we build to them getting together, it's an electric moment. These two guys lock eyes.
Okay, you sold me.
And like Hope Davis is in it. Hope Davis, the lady who plays Tony Stark's mother in the MC, plays Maria Stark. She plays Michael Strohlbarg's wife, and she has a good role too. So anyway, so this is right now, award seasons wise, like the Emmys and Golden Globes, I imagine so far the Golden Globes. This show, and the Mark Ruffalo show, This Much I Know to Be True, are kind of like the MVPs of TV last year of 2020. These are like the highlights of the limited series stuff, and they're getting the consideration for the award so far. I know This Much to Be True is getting it. It seems. I know Ruffalo got the award, but man, Cranston could have got it.
It's true.
Those two shows are, those two shows are amazing. I love them. But this one was like just so riveting, and just watching it week to week was amazing. So it has an addictive pilot, and it has a gobsmacking finale. I love this.
Okay, wow, you sound hype.
Yeah.
Okay, Jesus, calm down. All right, Dinosaurs. So, man, this is Dragon. We've just got an embarrassment of riches when it comes to Henson on Disney Plus, and I love it. Dinosaurs. I've seen the first season, and I love it. I can't wait to see more. I mean, what can be said? I think Baby's a little annoying, Dragon. That's the one thing I'll say of it. I think Baby is a product of like, oh boy, we've got a cash cow of a character. Let's kind of
Tiki. But Tiki, you gotta love him.
Yeah, you gotta love him. Yeah. But no, Dragon, Earl Sinclair is just one of the most dynamic sitcom dads in terms of just like all the emotional complexity.
It's great. Stuart Pankin, the guy who voices Earl, Condiment King from Batman the Animated Series. just never ceases to amuse me. Seriously, it's finally, this thing's on Disney Plus. I remember waiting so long for this show.
Oh, it was easily one of our most anticipated from the Disney Plus launch. Yeah.
This was worth it though. This one was worth the wait, because I got to tell you, I devoured all 4 seasons, man. It's so good. And also technically so impressive. This, of course, being kind of the last concept of Jim Henson's that he wasn't able to realize, but it was kind of realized. It was developed in his wake. I believe he pitched the idea. Like, let's do essentially the family of dinosaurs that would parallel. Like, we have, it's like the clever idea of we're going to mirror our world, which is on the brink, with a universe that we know is doomed. That's pretty much Henson's pitch, and we got to explore that so well. There's an episode in season 1 and season 3 that just utterly blew me away. Not that there are not other impressive episodes, but there's 2 truly exceptional episodes, and of course, there's the finale as well. But you'll get there when you get there, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, it's not like I don't know about it.
I know, but also here's what the folks may not know about. I'm going to warn them all here. Okay, when you watch Dinosaurs, kids, and you really should, when you get to season 4, for some reason, I don't know why, they put the finale not as the last episode. So episode 7 of season 4, watch that one last. That's the
ridiculous.
finale.
That's man. It's kind of like a you had one job scenario,
Yep, I know it is. And here's the thing: it's like you look at Recess. I love Recess. When I binged through it, though, it was terrible because they mixed the episodes all wrong. They had episodes from like the end to like episodes in the second season, like the seasons 2 or 5, and it was like mixed or 6, and it was mixed together and it was all wrong.
Oh man,
it got really annoying at times. But it's at least this was in order. But I think they aired it that way too. I don't understand why they wouldn't look at that and realize, oh hey, they screwed that up when they aired it way back when. Let's fix it now. I don't know, but Also, Claudia here, he's bringing up some TV news. We're just going to cover it. Here it says, Chuck is the best character in Kid Cosby. Chuck is awesome. Good old Tom Kenny. American Dragon, Jake Long, the Disney Plus. I don't know, Claudia, if you're saying that we need to put that on there next, absolutely. If you're saying it's coming, I think he's saying it's coming, though, because I think I heard murmur that American Dragon, Jake Long's coming, which is great and gives me hope for Buzz Lightyear Star Command.
It isn't on there already, honestly.
That's what I'm saying. I know it was a holdout, and I think it's supposed to be coming, if not there already. So it was like a late edition, which gives me hope. Maybe one day, Buzz Lightyear Star Command. Come on.
Oh God.
I just want. There are 2 shows missing on Disney Plus for me. Now we got American Dragon, Jake Long. That was the third. The other 2.
Canceled Buzz Lightyear of Star Command too.
I still don't get. Oh, okay, that's weird.
It's just like implying that Agatha does really personal stuff to you. Do one for me, Dragon.
What?
Do one for me. Do an Agatha, and like, what would I be devastated if Agatha did to me?
And I killed Cranston in Godzilla too.
There we go. That's a good one. All right.
Anyway. But that's, of course, I want Legend of Tarzan. I want Buzz Lightyear Star Command. To get those 2 shows on Disney Plus, and they own the world, then they'll have it all.
Yes, Dragon, just those 2.
But seriously, literally, but they're the Pepper Anns and everything. But come on, those are the 2 that matter.
Pepper Ann is like the Captain Marvel of the Disney
you got
lineup.
Pepper Ann and Lloyd from Space. No one's really aching to get them, but
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so we could use the Weekenders. Is the Weekenders on? I don't think the Weekenders is on there. Anyway,
I don't believe so.
Claudia's blowing the line with the stuff that's not on Disney Plus. It seems like House of Mouse, which how the heck is that possible?
Yeah, House of Mouse is not on there. Yeah,
that is ridiculous.
I know.
Mickey Mouse, your whole corporate. I don't get it. Anyway, all right. But of course, it's Dinosaurs. Mad love for it. I highly recommend it to everyone. It's basically kind of Henson stab at the Flintstones with the moral lessons of Fraggle Rock as a sitcom. Yeah, it's kind of it put best, I guess. It's it's fantastic. Great cast, but we'll spend your all day talking about dinosaurs. Maybe we'll do that at some point, but not now.
All right, so let's get to crime scene, the vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. Dragon, I am very curious. Is this your first time hearing about the Elisa Lam case?
Yes, the series was the first time I ever heard about it.
Okay, Dragon, I have been following John Morden for years. So you can imagine, like, this for me is I think they did this perfectly. I think they came to the perfect conclusion with it. And you and I are approaching this from 2 entirely different perspectives because I was never actively involved in the investigation, but I was always curious, Dragon. I was always, at the very least, a curious observer of everything. Like, I didn't go as far as to read the journals, but that's why this documentary is such a great insight. So, Dragon, suffice to say, me as someone who just finds this to be one of the most fascinating kind of like unexplained events of our time. It's like, I don't want to say it's just cool because, like, the cool thing is the hotel itself, Dragon. The hotel itself is great as a setting. It definitely gives me Tower of Terror vibes. I love the fact that the manager of the hotel is just an average as hell Kim Wexler type, which, yes, every time she's on screen, she's actually got the Kim Wexler vibes just going on all over the place, Dragon. She's just like, all right, you know what? This place is a shithole, but I'm going to use my professionalism to make it work. Oh, God. I would take Ray Seahorn in a show about the Cecil Hotel with, her as that person.
Yeah, but this was like a Netflix. I think Netflix finally had a return to form with their true crime series. They kind of returned to the true crime series, and I think they made the most out of the limited series thing with the 4 episodes this time. Wouldn't you agree?
I would agree, just because since I know the case so well, I know that there's a lot to cover with it.
Yeah, it's been a while since they've. I don't know. I think the Richard Ramirez thing, the Night Stalker thing. I thought that was. I think I liked that more than you did. But I mean, I think the last consensus, like the last time they really made like the 4-episode thing work for them perfectly, was The Pharmacist. That was the last time they really made that sing.
Oh God, yeah.
Seriously, oh man, The Pharmacist was awesome. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, this to me, I mean, the equivalency I have to this. I mean, actually, the I'm going to compare it to. I came after The Pharmacist. This is very in line with Don't F with Cats, I felt. And I really thought that was really, I think it's kind of the most apt comparison. This is very much like kind of an internet kind of cause, so to speak. Only there's a little bit more fallout here than there was with Don't F with Cats. Don't F with Cats is sort of like Don't F with Cats is like, we here in this documentary, we examine the pros and cons of the amateur sleuths versus Don't F with Cats, was pretty much unified. Like, we got to get it's like the opening of Endgame with Captain America going after Thanos. Like, we got to go after that son of a, we can't, that's like a unified sort of thing. We're like, this guy's killing cats. We got to get him. Where in this case, it's like, we're going after suspects. We're not really cops. And also, we know for a fact these guys do not have all the facts, as we see. They're missing a pretty big fact. Everyone's missing. We didn't get until the end. And they kind of ruin a guy's life in doing so, which you feel kind of bad for.
That was probably the most riveting part for me.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't know about that part, did you?
No, I did not.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I just think this was... Of course, for the folks at home, again, girl kind of disappears in an elevator. We see her on camera. She disappears, and then she essentially, a lot of chaos follows, and there's some fallout for sure. It's they said this thing has some coincidences you have to see to believe. There's like some Room 237 stuff in this, don't you think? When we have that one, we have like that one reveal.
You mentioned Room 237, Dragon, but yes, I agree.
That's called Gilding the Lily, kids. Yeah, but I love like the whole like there's internet phenomenon, this whole like sort of like kind of amateur detective magnet of a case. So like everyone and their mother is like, oh my god, I saw the video they put it online. Let's try to get to the bottom of this. Let's try to find this girl. Let's try to get justice for this girl and all that sort of stuff. And I think it was just really well told. And again, that's Netflix doing true crime upright again, which is always nice to see because they kind of really sold me on true crime back in 2015. I'd like seeing them do this.
All right. So, Dragon, I dipped my toe in Disenchantment, and I think the title was pretty accurate. I was not enchanted with it.
Yeah.
I wasn't getting the Futurama vibes. I wasn't getting early Simpsons vibes. I was just kind of like, I don't know where this is going. But how was season 3, Dragon? Tell me.
Right. Before we do, Claudie says, "What about Fillmore?" I feel I could have had a V8 moment. I'm slapping my head like, oh, because
Fillmore's a big one. Yeah,
I'm gonna redact my earlier statement. Look, American Dragon, Jake Long is great, but if I have 3 shows: Buzz Lightyear, Star Command, Legend of Tarzan, and Fillmore. I love Fillmore so much. Anyway, so Disenchantment season 3. Disenchantment, on the whole, and I kind of feel this way about all the seasons, and going to the third, pretty the same. It's that. It continues to be okay. I think it's better than season 2.
I think my biggest problem with the few episodes I did see, Dragon, is that the main character was just unlikable.
I think you'll find, well, again, had you watched more, you would have found she gets better.
But, I mean, fair enough, but it was pretty abrasive to get a grasp on.
That's what I'm saying. It's I season 3. there's more of an arc in season 3. I'm not saying it's going to save it if you can't get into the first season, but it's we introduce some steampunk elements, which is really cool, like steampunk in medieval times. That's kind of cool. You have her father. Her father has a bit of an arc. This season's an odd arc. It's a really weird arc where essentially he goes insane, but it's kind of interesting. But it's nice to see it's nice seeing everyone kind of evolving this season. Everyone kind of progresses. They kind of flower into the next stage of their lives, so to speak. And we explore Beans, Tia Beanie, her mother, and unfortunately, we only do it like a bit at the top, and then we kind of forget about it till the very end of the season, which is kind of disappointing. So it's not a slam dunk at all. It's not. Grading's lost a little bit of the magic touch. It's going to sound harsh, but it's true. It's going to lose a little bit.
I think the man himself would be the first to admit that, right?
Yeah. Isn't that great about these showrunners?
Oh my God, it's raining hard in California. Sorry, just wanted to say that. My God, it's harder than I've heard it rain in months. Anyways, go ahead.
Isn't that great? Like the showrunners of our animated, or at least in some cases, our former animated favorites, like Seth MacFarlane, Matt Groening, who are buddies. They were kind of friendly, by the way. They're very much the first to admit, the show's not what it used to be.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but we're kind of waiting to jump ship. We're not going down with the ship because we're off doing other things.
Apparently, the Family Guy movie is still happening. Last I heard. And apparently Disney is going to make a Simpsons movie. So yeah, Dragon.
Well, this is just, now I'm bummed out.
All right, well, you know what, Dragon? I'll pull you out of your bummed out state. You like soap operas, Dragon?
Well, this is not helping me.
You like lucid dreaming, Dragon?
Well, this is borderline now.
You like batshit crazy symbolism that goes nowhere, Dragon?
I'm sensing a theme, but go on.
So behind her eyes is wild and boring at the same time, and I don't like it. Right?
So you're saying it's no Queen's Gambit?
Oh God! Oh no! Oh God! No! Oh my God! No, Queen's Gambit is just like in the A tier, and this is in like the D tier. Dragon. This is honestly maybe one of the worst. It has a little bit of potential in the first couple episodes, just because it's like, oh, okay, like it's a very basic like. So the main character has a one-night stand with her boss, and she doesn't know it's her boss at the time it's taking place. And then it's like, hey, I'm your new boss, and oh shit, this is awkward. That's basically how it starts, Dragon. That's basically how it starts. And essentially, the wife finds out about it, and she goes to confront the main character, and then the main character and the wife become friends, and then they want to pull her into a crazy lucid dream cult. And it just gets bananas from there, Dragon. It just gets bananas from there. And I don't even know what to say beyond that. It is just, it is honest to God, one of the most baffling Netflix original series I have ever laid eyes on. And not in a good way.
See, to me, it sounds like you should have watched something like Lock and Key or The Travelers versus this to get your time's worth, but fair enough.
Or the one that you really want me to watch that I really haven't watched yet, Hunters.
Well, no, it's Amazon, but yes, I mean, you're right. I was thinking Netflix, but you're right. Yes, absolutely that one. Yeah, that's. Yeah.
Look, I don't, like Netflix. I'm just bumming off of my grandma. I don't care where that time goes. Right.
Anyway. Okay. Lastly, then, for our TV little roundup here, I got an HBO Max. Well, actually, it's always on HBO straight. I think this is available through Max. Basically, anything HBO is on Max as well, but this is obvious knowledge. So, The Lady and the Dale. This is a 4-episode miniseries on HBO. Did.
Yeah, this intrigues me, Dragon. I wanted to watch it. I just didn't have time.
Yeah, it's about this con man. It's more like a con man to woman story, more accurately. It's Liz Carmichael, a trans this trans person who basically kind of ran this car empire. She created the Dale. This car, basically the Dale. I believe, yeah, the car is called the Dale. It was basically the '70s version of the 3-wheel car. It was like sort of like not an eco. I don't know if environmentally friendly was necessarily the right term, but it was like made out of like this plastic polymer sort of thing. It was like a really kind of hard to destroy polymer the car was made out of, and it's a 3-wheeler, which you don't see a lot of those these days because, well, for the reasons you see in the documentary, it doesn't work out that well. But I get to, I've always had mad love for the three-wheeled car as a kid, though. It was like, I knew it never would work, but it was always cool looking. Or Dragon Ball Z, they always had Gohan, the older Gohan, driving the three-wheeled car and had like a toy of his. Oh, it's awesome. Anyway, but yeah, so this is actually the real life story of that. I gotta tell you though, in my opinion, it has a slow start. I think after episode 1, it really picks up. It's not great given it's kind of a quarter of the series, but
right, yeah.
But maybe that's me. That might be me. I don't know. After episode 1, it really picked up. It's basically, it's the way they do the reenactments and they kind of tell tales from the past. They use outside of just using actual footage, they will use sort of like this cutout animation style. Imagine a better version of that. I'm not going to cite it because I don't know the name of the series, but it was like Amelia. It was like Amelia's World or something. It was that weird cutout style, like that.
Black and white Angela Anaconda.
Yes, that's the one, Angela Anaconda. Yes.
Oh God.
It was like imagine a far better version of that. That's kind of what it looked like. So that was kind of like the way they did the reenactments.
Dragon, that show reminds me of a night terror. It reminds me of just like a sleep paralysis demon.
Yeah, that show is a night terror.
Gildan the Lily there, just gilding it. Just
I know.
Ready.
I know.
Like Sweetums. Like Sweetums.
Yep.
All right.
I'm getting the lilies ready.
Oh God.
Hold on. Anyway, so I think I don't. I don't quite get this thing is people are digging this thing big time, man. I don't quite get the love for it. It's I imagine there's
how I feel about Ford v Ferrari, Dragon.
Well, it's not. Oh, come on! It's not the. Fine. Anyway, it's. I imagine there's a lot of trans appeal in the story there because the interesting part of the documentary for me is in the latter half where we kind of talk about the struggle of the trans thing. That's where things get kind of interesting. And I mean, like I won't spoil anything for you because that's where things kind of get interesting. Where once she kind of gets in trouble, she kind of that kind of plays into a role like, well, how do we deal with her? I honestly, compared to this, I prefer HBO. It's kind of a bad comparison. This was like a documentary film, not a series, but I prefer the other, the D.B. Cooper documentary to this personally. I thought they did a really great job with that. But I don't know, this was interesting, but not mind-bending to me. That was just to me, though. Maybe you like it a little bit more. I don't know. I mean, again, it gets better after that first episode, so yeah, that's where I'm at on it.
Okay. Alrighty. So let's move right along. It feels like we reached this point rather quickly, Dragon. I'm pretty satisfied with the pace we're at. Let's get to February 2021 movies, baby.
All right, so we're gonna start with a little HBO Max film.
Okay. Judas and the Black Messiah, Dragon. Of course, I've heard rumblings about this movie for a couple months now. And everyone was like, "Oh, just you wait. It's going to be a late Oscar contender." And Dragon, at this point, I don't even care about the Oscars. It's just a really damn good movie. I have a couple issues with it. I think the narrative could be a little bit more focused between the two leads. I feel like the two leads don't really interact as much as they really should. But other than that, I mean, like, my God, Daniel Kaluuya and Lakeith Stanfield, just, they are acting their asses off. Kaluuya especially, he is, to me, like, one of the most definitive performances of the year, if not the decade. Especially with that, just the major speeches that he gives. Just unbelievable power and triumph in his voice. I've heard the word electrifying being thrown out a lot for his performance, and I can't think of a better word to describe it. And also, Dragon, my boy, who am I talking about, Dragon? Clemens, yeah.
Jesse Clemens, Todd from Breaking Bad, but more.
So he is arguably the villain of the story. But by the same token, even he has some depth to him, and I goddamn loved that, Dragon. I
found him so interesting.
Clemens. I was eating up the Clemens, Dragon.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
But I mean, this, of course, premise, Stanfield, who again, by the way, the guy from Knives Out, in case people are wondering where, I know that Stanfield guy, where have I seen him before? He's the investigator in Knives Out, as well as the guy from Sorry to Bother You. So Stanfield, good actor. I really loved him in this. He plays Bill O'Neill, who essentially, guy cuts a deal with the FBI to infiltrate the Black Panther Party and spy on their leader, Fred Hampton. Of course, when Fred Hampton enters the fray, you and I are a little familiar with Fred Hampton already through Trial of the Chicago 7. So we're vaguely familiar. We have kind of a little crossover with that story.
Sure.
And yeah, I thought that was interesting, kind of knowing where that story goes, but they added layers to it I didn't consider with that Fred Hampton. Like, Fred Hampton's kind of like a little kind of footnote in that story, and like seeing like kind of what leads to that footnote is really interesting. Yeah, and they're doing other documentaries about it now. Like I believe they're doing like this Martin Luther King documentary about something along the lines of what the film's really about. Hence the namesake, the whole Black Messiah of it all. Is that the FBI in the '60s, shadier than they usually are. I mean, really shady. The older generation of the FBI, they kind of viewed the black man ascending via these civil rights leaders as a prospective Black Messiah, which could lead to trouble in the FBI's eyes at that time, which kind of led to shady operations like this, and again, ultimately, just a lot of really down low stuff that happens. My God,
yeah, the ending of this movie, right? And I can't even.
Yeah, we don't want to give too much away, but yeah,
makes you pissed.
Certainly, and I'm fascinated by it's. You know what it kind of is, Tiki, and I think you might like this reference. It's kind of like a reverse Black Klansman premise.
Oh, absolutely! I can totally see that.
Yeah, it's. I love how we use the Plemons character. I love how we use Roy Mitchell. I love how we use Roy Mitchell as kind of this perfect moral gray parallel to Stanfield's position, where he too is kind of caught between two things in a sense. Where we see, he's a family man. We see that he doesn't necessarily support the racist views. Not necessarily. It's been ingrained in him for sure, but he's not necessarily like forming. It seems like he's uncomfortable with the way Plemons plays in certain scenes, and I really like that. And of course, he's like, we have that really uncomfortable scene about his infant daughter, where it's like, what happens when she brings home a black man? Says the boss of the FBI. It's really so it's really interesting kind of position to put Plemons in there. And again, he's so friendly towards like the one civil guy towards the Stanfield character.
Yeah, and I think Plemons playing a malicious good cop is just like right up his alley.
It is, and so absolutely. I think the framing device is brilliant. I kind of wanted to see it more, but the payoff I think is astonishingly brilliant. Where I had no idea about this, where without giving anything away, it's that again, this is kind of the last and only interview O'Neill gave on the subject. It's a very poignant reveal, and the film to me ultimately it's about trials of compromise, like the trials and tribulations.
But I will say that they did the whole tying things into modern day angle a hell of a lot smoother than Black Klansman.
They did. Like
I love Black Klansman.
The one thing Black Klansman's an excellent film, but that ending, it's really. I mean, not the ending. Like basically the thing is tacked on right after.
Like you get the point. You feel the point.
I know. But then it gets hammered. You get hammered over the head with it. It's like the movie ends, and then like, hey, ... If you didn't get it, here's what happened. Here's what we're saying. Spike, I get it, man. You did an excellent job.
Dragon. Calm down. You're good.
Anyway, but yeah, at the end of the day, I think what the film kind of conveys to me, I think was really interesting, is that the Black Panther Party, in a sense, the Black Panthers, they meant well. Absolutely, because we see they're helping out the community. They're trying to get the word out. But here's the interesting thing, and this is what fascinated me about the movie, where Plemons uses the kind of the drilled line from the FBI to him, is that, and you get a sense that I don't necessarily think he believes it. We don't know if he believes it or not. It's the whole like comparing the Black Panther Party to the Klan, which is fascinating to me. Which is that these are two groups that in some senses are formed by a hatred, but obviously one hatred is irrational with the Klan.
Of course, yeah.
But the Black Panther Party, and what we kind of explore here, is that the approach was so charged by the injustices that they face, and understandably charged. They this led to some hot-headed decisions, which we see in the film. A guy makes a really stupid decision, which essentially gets him wounded or killed. And sometimes decisions like that would be made, and in some senses, depending on who you look at, it could be like they became what they hated in a sense, in a sense of like whether they became like a new stereotype, like a new stereotype, and or they became as shady as the group says, they're kind of fighting against, which of course led to the FBI and the police, as we see ultimately, excessive force in fear of like a rising power, which they were all about kind of the acclamation of power when they felt powerless. This is fascinating stuff. This movie gets to the bottom of, man. It's a tragedy of the highest order, I felt, and it's even worse because it's real. It all happened. That's what makes it scary.
Yeah, and I love the title because when I first saw the title, I was just like, what is this about? Is it some kind of biblical thing? But no, I mean,
it is kind of biblical, though.
It's not in the traditional sense, but absolutely in the thematic sense, yes.
And we got a Judas and we got a Black Messiah.
Right, it's Shakespearean Dragon. It really is. It kind of like feels, but that's the crazy thing. It feels like it's too Shakespearean and too high drama to actually be real, but it is.
I mean, I haven't seen The Father yet, but so far this seems to be the big contender.
I need to see The Father, yeah, but I mean, trust me, make no mistake, Nomadland is going to win Best Picture. I'm calling it right now. But as far as acting goes, that's where I'm kind of putting my hat on Daniel Kaluuya as far as the should win category is concerned.
Sure. Well, he got the Globe, so maybe there's hope.
All
right. All right. So next, my side of the fence, we got I got a documentary. The documentary is called More Than Miyagi: The Pat Morita Story. So it's no Happy Joy, the Ren and Stimpy story, despite the similar title. But it's a very solid doc. I had a good time with this. This is a deep dive on the life of Pat Morita, as you can probably guess. And of course, given Pat Morita, started off as a comedian, given his comedic roots. There is, with many comedians, there's a lot of tragedy behind that. My God, it's an eye-opening kind of deep dive on Pat Morita. Like I had no idea. Like as a kid, Tiki, like he had spinal tuberculosis at age 2. Like he couldn't walk for 10 years. He had to be like in like a body cast or something for like 10 years.
Oh, wow.
And when he gets out of that body cast eventually, internment camp.
Oh, damn. Oh,
right?
Christ.
This is what I'm saying. This thing is fascinating.
I was not expecting that, Dragon. Wow.
Seriously, this thing's a fascinating. Again, no happy joy per se, but this thing is like in terms like, especially after Cobra Kai, you definitely should look into this. I mean, especially after,
I need to binge all the Karate Kid movies for one after Cobra Kai, but yeah, I hear ya.
Yeah. And of course, he basically, Morita really flourished in the 70s. He was like the go-to kind of character actor guest star of the 70s. And of course, that led mainly to Happy Days being the big thing, eventually lands in Karate. That is kind of marring him when he gets the Karate Kid, but the S kind of pushes beyond that. So of course, Karate Kid, the big break, which then leads to the double-edged sword all actors kind of faced with the typecasting of, which kind of led to some trouble for Morita, which is really where the he battled with alcoholism really badly. That's what really kind of chilling moments of the documentary, where you see these effective and haunting moments of him kind of battling alcoholism, but it's like it kind of builds to getting to that point. It's not there from the beginning. It's like, hey, you learn about Pat Morita and like the things he's overcome. Like as you're kind of getting there, it's like, what could possibly happen next? And then, oh boy, yeah, I mean, I guess he might have been drinking during a lot of that. I didn't really think there was a problem there. And okay, there was a problem there. It's really interesting stuff. There's a big Henry Winkler moment in this documentary. Like they got everyone but Pat Morita's daughter, who I guess out of respect for her father didn't want to do the thing. So they got everyone but Morita's daughter in on this. Henry Winkler's got a really great moment. We have a really effective. I love that we don't do the trap that so many documentaries have fallen prey to these days, where hey, we bring up the Asian representation, but it doesn't overtake the documentary. It fits perfectly into like we're going to address it and we're going to make it relevant to what we're talking about, but it doesn't like overtake the piece. So that's good. It's really good stuff. I had a good time with it. It was time well spent for sure, but it's not real. I don't think it's gonna be like the number one of the 2021 movies for me, like Happy Joy was 2020.
Oh God. Okay, I care a lot, Dragon. You didn't watch this, did you?
No, I did.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll let you go first.
Are you sure?
Yes,
Okay. I thought it was pretty good.
of course.
It was. I was it.
Dragon, look, I, I think it was. I think it was really good in terms of like, Dinklage is always fun. I think he's maybe a little over the top for my case, considering what I know he can do with a little bit more restraint. But I will say that the story that they set up in the first act with Rosamund Pike going after these senior citizens and then meeting one of them that's a little more cunning than she lets on and who's gonna fight back. Dragon, I was on board for that premise, and then all that crazy Russian mob shit just started getting involved with everything. And once the mob stuff became prevalent, the movie just kind of lost me slowly but surely. Just kind of like my interest kind of eroded over time. But I don't know though. I don't know. It was still it was still a solid. It's a solid first act, Dragon. It's a solid setup, and then I just feel like it's one of those movies where they kind of blow a solid setup by having one too many twists, and that's kind of my main issue with it.
Let me tell you, I thought this one was. Here's the thing. I thought it was pretty good. More interesting. Interesting is the operative word. This thing was a really interesting film. It really puts to the test how unlikable can you make your lead character.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And of course, having it be Rosamund Pike, especially after something like Gone Girl, I mean, it's definitely. I fear she's risking being typecast as these unlikable kind of lead.
Oh, Dragon, I think that's already happened, man. I think this is proof of that.
Yeah, but again, I'm worried about, but she's doing it tremendously well, though. It's like I can't fault her for it because she's like the anti Jimmy McGill. She violates the one line Saul Goodman won't cross. He won't harm. He won't mistreat old people. He won't do that. But my God, she is.
No, I mean, you got to admit, like, given all the pearl clutching that we were doing with Better Call Saul, given the old people manipulation, it's flat out disturbing, Dragon.
It is.
The scary thing about it is that it's not entirely unrealistic. It's actually based on a news article.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Crazy. Yeah, I mean, this is like it's like everything Kim Wexler warned Jimmy about it in Better Call Saul, saying like old people get shafted all the time. Old people get basically they get robbed and everything. All this sort of bad stuff happens. We get to see all that bad stuff happen in this movie.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, Dragon, I don't entirely think that they achieved their goal in terms of like I kind of just wanted this character to die.
Me too.
Given I'm mixed. Well, I am mixed.
Let me continue. So
okay.
So you have this. Here's the thing. So you have this character. She's we see her, like stealing from old folks in the most morally reprehensible way possible. Then enter our mobster Dinklage. Well, here's the thing. I think there was a balance between yes, there were outbursts, but there's also a reserved quality. I really like when he's threatening her later in the movie. Like I love how reserved he was in that scene.
There are moments where he's holding back his anger and like kind of like he's battling with the short fuse that he does have. I feel like those moments are his best.
I mean, here's the thing. The reason he was interesting for this film is that I don't know quite. I have a feeling. I don't know if it's the right feeling though. That's kind of the point of the movie, though. It's morally, it's kind of in that uncut gem space, I guess, where it's like these are characters you really shouldn't root for, but yet you're following them. What's happening to them? Where
I feel like with uncut gems, I feel like Adam Sandler was a little bit more sympathetic just because he inherently did have a disease, which was the addiction. Whereas Marla's just a piece of shit.
True. But here's the thing: like we have these.
There's a difference between a mess and a piece of shit.
Our drug our mobsters here. They're trafficking drugs through mules. Yet I'm rooting for him in this movie.
Right, exactly.
And I think that's wrong. But I mean, what's the alternative though?
All he wants to do is see his mom.
Yeah, well, also get
the hero of this movie. He should be the hero of this movie.
Yes, and also trying to get back his booty, but
But still, his mother is like at the heart of what he's doing.
I know. And that's why there's like a D'Onofrio effect with this Dinklage character,
Absolutely,
which kind of like
absolutely.
I think subconsciously was kind of by cell there. And also, here's the thing no one's talking about. And I really want to highlight here. Diane Weiss is so great in this film. I thought she was great. Diane Weiss, the elderly victim.
Oh
Mother.
yeah, and that's the thing, Dragon. I'm glad you bring that up because I wanted to see more of her, and I feel like she dropped off a little bit after the first act, and I was super compelled by the whole like, all right, like finally someone is like calling this woman on her bullshit and standing up
Yeah.
to her.
Of course,
Um,
I love.
and like I said, I just think like as fun as Dinklage is, I just think the movie got a little bit messy once it started focusing more on his side of things.
Yeah, Diane Weiss, I love it when she pops up and things. Of course, I think the main role everyone knows her for is the mother in Edward Scissorhands, the one who finds Edward Scissorhands. That's her.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but it's like that moment. The moment where things really crystallize in this movie is when she just laughs at her while she's all doped up, thanks to this horrible woman who's put her in this situation. Just has that great moment of and this made me so happy. Just says, "Oh, you're in trouble now." It's just like, oh, it's like yes, yes. And I'll admit, I'm gonna say this, and then we'll move on. I guess is that for me though, I was gonna call BS on the film in the third act until we got the end. The end bought it back for me. I won't say what happened for those who have not seen it, but when we got to the end, that bought it back for me. I thought it ended really well. Had the movie not had that ending, I don't know how I would have felt about it.
Uh-huh.
So I think there's like a circuit, like kind of a full circle element that kind of paid off quite nicely, and it kind of bought some stuff back. I don't know, but that's the thing. It's kind of messy. The world's a terrible place. The world has terrible people in it, and they're under your nose, and greed drives them to shocking levels. It's depressing but well told story for sure. That's kind of the best way. So it's depressing, but it's very well told.
All right, so next up we have Willie's Wonderland. I just want to give a shout out to Kyle Decker of HotChocolateMedia.net. And he hosted a watch party for this movie, so I didn't have to pay the ridiculous $20 streaming fee for this. And Dragon, I gotta tell you, this is absolutely the kind of movie where if you're just watching it alone, it's kind of dreadful. Honestly, it's not good at all. Did you know that Nicolas Cage has literally no lines of dialogue? He's a
Wait,
silent
really?
protagonist. Yes.
You mean Nicolas Cage? The
Yes.
Nicolas Cage. He doesn't say
Yes.
a word in this movie.
He does not say a single word in this movie.
Ah.
And I feel like it kind of goes both for and against the movie because on one hand, I feel like they're trying to build up to something. And the whole idea of Nicolas Cage being this energy drink addicted, just crazy man who's just going about this Chuck E. Cheese, doing the job that he was hired to do, which was clean the place room by room. And meanwhile, these animatronics are just kind of like, I got to be honest with you, Dragon. The big point of disappointment for me was that the animatronics were like 99% just like I just I don't even know how to describe them. They were just
Were
like
they CG?
no, they weren't necessarily they were just not up to par. Like I didn't really care for any of the effects. But I will say that it was fun watching it in a group setting though. Even if it was just a few people on a on a text chat, it was fun getting the reactions and be like, "Oh boy, who's going to be first to die? Let's take some bets." I will say that the side characters besides Nicolas Cage are utterly pointless and don't need to be there at all, and I don't like them. The movie has some style to it. It's definitely got some interesting lighting choices for one. I don't know, man. I'm mixed on it. I think I had a better time with it than I would have if I watched it solo. In that regard, I'm kind of like I would probably switch it from like if I was watching it alone, I'd probably get like a 5 out of 10. Watching it solo raised it to like maybe about a 7 out of 10, just because I was able to get that kind of like almost in theater vibe of like watching with a live act audience and reacting with them and everything. So it is what it is. I wasn't too stoked by it, but it's it's okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right, here's one we both saw.
Hit me.
Made You Look, a true story about fake art.
Yeah, this was pretty decent. It's not necessarily my territory, but I thought it was I got to admit, Dragon, the only reason I sat down with this is that I was kind of rounding out my documentaries because this, especially in catch up, this was a very documentary heavy month for me. And I got to tell you, this was probably on the lower end of the documentaries that I've seen this month, but I still liked it. I thought it had a good piece to it. I thought it kind of kept up the intrigue quite nicely. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was, it did knock my socks off, but it was informative.
Yeah,
it was, yeah, it
seems
was,
like you
I,
and I are pretty much on the same page.
yeah, I mean, I like the whole kind of question of was Anne Freeman, like the lady who runs the art gallery. Basically, the idea is there were 60 fake paintings, these like millions of dollars
Dragon, you
worth
know
of
why I
paintings.
was interested in this thing in the first place?
Why?
Animal Crossing.
Wait, what?
Animal Crossing's got a whole like fake art thing in the game where it's like you have to buy art from this really shady pirate guy and you have to look at it and analyze it if it's fake or not.
Yeah, for me, I was looking through the TV guide of all the new all the Netflix stuff that was
Uh-huh.
added, and it said like, hey, a true crime art thriller. It's like, oh boy.
Oh boy, it's Christmas.
Yeah, it's like, hey, true, true crime and about the art world, art forgeries, millions of dollars in art for that sounds awesome. And
I
I mean, it
feel
was
like
good, but
I'm a little burned by true crime in the art world because of that one the follow up to Nightcrawler.
all
You know
right. Well, and
what it was.
that was less. Well, it wasn't necessarily. Well, is it technically true crime if
Not
it's not
necessarily true crime, but it had like the vibe of true crime.
Velvet Buzzsaw is what you're thinking of. Did you
Velvet
actually end up watching
Buzzsaw.
that?
Yes, I did not like it, Dragon. It was a hard sit.
I warned you, it was not good.
I know.
All right, but yeah, I mean, this one means pretty not a whole lot to say. As I like the whole angle of like, was she a sucker or a scammer? That's kind of interesting. And the whole, I mean, I like to believe the former, but there is evidence for both, which makes things interesting. Got some insights on art forgery, how that world works. Like the whole, I kind of feel for this lady, but by the same token, again, there's a little bit of shaky trust. I don't know. It's all about the little betrayals. That was quite interesting. So yeah, not a whole lot, but it was a nice watch. Not the most exceptional. It's no American, it's no American Murder or anything, but it was good. Not great, but
All right. So let's see. Oh boy, this is a very long title, Dragon. Uh Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm reading the title of the one we just talked about.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay, glitch in the Matrix. Glitch in the Matrix. So, have you heard about the glitch in the Matrix phenomenon or the simulation theory?
Is this not a documentary on the Matrix?
No, it's not.
Then no.
Okay, so basically the idea is that technology, especially in video games and simulations, are getting so advanced and are advancing at such a rapid rate that eventually we'll be living in simulations and we won't be able to tell the difference between, like with VR and everything like that. Eventually, there will be so many digital copies of our reality that we won't be able to tell. And Dragon, it's an out there idea, and it's explored by the Room 237 guys. So, there's going to be some out there concepts and out there theories. And I wasn't a big fan of it. But I will say, Dragon, that the theory of glitch in the Matrix is really interesting because I've heard stories about like people driving through towns and then driving through that exact same route on a road trip, and the town's just not there. Like road signs changing, the Mandela effect. Like why the hell does Ricky Ricardo not say, Lucy, you've got some explaining to do at any given point in I Love Lucy ever.
Wait, do they talk about that in this documentary?
They don't know, but I feel like the Mandela effect is kind of tangentially related to the glitch in the Matrix. Actually, they do bring up the Bernstein thing with in regards to just like things, small details and things that have changed. And I feel like the Mandela effect definitely is part of that. It's kind of what you pay for as far as a conspiracy theory documentary from the guy who made Room 237. I don't think it would knock your socks off by any means, and I think the other movie that I saw from that guy this month was a lot more compelling. But I'm glad I saw it just because it was absolutely piquing my curiosity. So I thought it was worth the $3 rental just to scratch the curiosity. If you're in the same camp as me, where you're into you're into the theory just on a what if kind of level, I think you'd enjoy it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, lastly, to round out our February stuff, Tom and Jerry.
Oh God, I forgot this was a thing.
Yeah. So Tom and Jerry. So this is on HBO Max again, kind of like Judas and the Black Messiah. It was sort of like supposed to be in theaters. Pretty much. Yeah, it was kind of like the dual release thing. So Tim Story, the guy who directed the Fantastic Four movies, he did Tom and Jerry film.
Yeah.
You can imagine how well that went. But no. All seriousness, they kind of took the Looney Tunes back in action approach here in terms of the style, where it's basically we have kind of decently, I gotta admit, like decently rendered. Like we kind of took the 2D form, I believe we kind of brought it to 3D with basically all the animals in this world are animated.
That's what I've heard, Dragon. That's what I've heard, and that to me is a big selling point to actually sitting down and watching this thing.
I mean, the world building in that regard is really cool. So it's pretty much like all the animals in this world are animated. That's kind of cool.
Do we see Droopy?
Do you want me to tell you?
Yes.
Yes, and it's awesome.
Oh, God damn it. I have to sit
I got to clip your excitement. Okay, so you don't get, just to give you a fair assertion here, it's a cameo, but it's an awesome cameo.
Okay.
Like, it's brief, but it's like I laughed out loud during it.
All right.
Anyway, so let me tell you, so Tom and Jerry, this is just to assuage any fears, plays a lot better than the Tom and Jerry movie from 1992.
Well, I would hope so, Dragon. That's
as
a pretty damn low bar.
As in, in case you're curious, there's no talking Tom and Jerry, so.
But why didn't you talk until now? Well,
yes,
I don't know. I guess I just didn't have anything to say.
Oh God! So there's none of that here. I gotta tell you, the human actors, it's got a good cast. You got Chloe.
Okay, but here's the thing, Dragon. I've heard that once again, and this is the reason why I'm hesitant to watch this movie. Heard that once again. It's kind of like one of those like cartoon adaptations where it's like, hey, you love the cartoons, but don't you really like the human characters?
I'll tell you what the problem is, okay? So they did it's so weird that this is still happening after all these decades, but remember...
Yeah, it's a carbon... It's like Smurfs, Dragon.
Well, no, I was going to go a little further back than that, Tiki, but sure.
Okay. By all means, go further back.
You know how... Remember, we've talked about this before, but like some of the old comedy stars, like whether it be Abbott and Costello or the Marx Brothers and what have you, but like the Three Stooges. Let's just say Abbott and Costello, for example. Yeah. There are films before you get like the Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein films, before they kind of get to the 50s. All the films leading up to that, they're not sure. They love the comedians. Everyone's there for the comedians, but because their names are in the title, they eventually the names are in the title. It's like, hey, Abbott and Costello in Buck Privates. Uh-huh. Are they the stars of it? No, it's about the love story. And look, the couple there's like a romantic triangle. There's always that sort of thing. And it's like the old comedy formula, like in the old days. The draw that everyone's there for, and they're the guys who are going to steal all the scenes in the movie. We can't, it's like there is a side plot in this film that does not belong there at all, and it feels a little Silver Surfer, like Rise of the Silver Surfer-esque. There is a whole wedding subplot.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
So that's okay. I like the hotel setting, but I hate the reason we're at the hotel. We're at the hotel because there's like a celebrity wedding. Just the BS old school comedy movie formula of it's the romantic celebrity wedding. That's we don't want it to go wrong. It's big and fancy. There's royalty in the house, and then basically that's tied to our main plot line of the film. Where basically, I wanted just to highlight the good human element. So Chloe Grace Moretz. She's great in the film. She's kind of our lead character. She's like, she's kind of she gets a job at the hotel. Uh-huh. And you have Michael Pena, who's really fun, and Rob Delaney. So again, those are our three main human actors. I feel we could have done more with Delaney, but he was fine in it. Yeah. But that's the thing. I love Grace Moretz in that, my favorite element of the movie is she and Tom have a really sweet dynamic. Like we treat Tom really nice this time around, where it's like,
So I've heard that it's like they kind of play on the Tom wanting to be a musician thing.
Yeah. Tom, he wants to be a musician.
Appreciate that because that does tie into the shorts quite nicely.
Yeah, he wants to essentially play piano at the hotel.
That's cool.
So, and Jerry just wants a home, and he wants a home in the hotel. He wants a little mouse hole in the place. And that's the thing. So, like, it's really nice that basically Tom and Kayla, that's her name, they're trying to catch Jerry to basically kind of help ingratiate her in the hotel, and also kind of get Tom closer to his his piano dreams. And it's so nice to see someone on Tom's side for a change. That never happens.
Yeah.
And it's so that she's so nice to him.
If the human characters have any redeeming quality, it's that. It's kind of adding something to the dynamic that wasn't there.
Yeah, and then Pena's good, but he's kind of sidled with. He kind of gets off to he gets put off to. He gets some BS plot stuff, but outside of that, he's
the mean bully boss man.
Yeah, he's kind of the rival, but he's not like a bad guy. He's like, he's a little jealous, but he's not terrible. We redeem him quite nice. He's a nice guy.
Okay.
He's not like full on hilarious Michael Pena, but he's fine. But that's thing. Grace Moretz, she was really good. Jerry's kind of the bad guy in the movie, which is really interesting for a bit. That's the thing that interests me.
You know what? That's the kind of subversion I kind of expect in a modern day Tom and Jerry. I mean, I feel like it's kind of against the whole Cobra Kai argument of it all.
Yeah, and we get to a point which is also interesting because I'm like the oddball in the room when it comes to Tom and Jerry because I like it when they get along in those rare instances, and we do that here for kind of for a part of the movie where like Kayla tries to give them the buddy up with each other. We kind of like be civil towards each other, and it's nice. Again, basically take the forced BS low of lows out of the movie. It's pretty decent. I like elements of it. Does it save the whole? Probably not, but it's got redeeming moments, and also the weird thing where Tom doesn't speak, but he does sing. He does sing once.
Is it a fantasy sequence?
Well, it's when he's playing the piano.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, take that equation. Also, there's they kind of break a bylaw of animation once in the movie. There's animated bathroom humor.
Oh.
I forget if we call the big dog Spike or not. Like the big dog bulldog always beats the crap out of that one.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we're walking the dog and we do that joke. It's like, oh, come on.
Oh, great.
Like, we broke a bylaw. It's like, that's an animation bylaw. Animated dogs don't go to the bathroom. It's simple. It's written in stone.
Oh, man.
We did it in Scoob. We did it here. I hate it.
Okay, Dragon, let's get to some catch-up. Okay, let's see. So, Spree.
Yes. So Spree, this was the Joe Keery, the Steve from Stranger Things. This was the Joe Keery indie kind of rideshare horror movie.
Oh, Steve from Stranger Things. What's he up to? How is he?
He is good in the movie. The movie, I think you would like it a lot more than I.
Really?
But yeah, I think it's really up your alley. It's basically you have the Joe Keery character, I believe Kurt is his. Yeah, Kurt. So Kurt is it's kind of a social media satire in that he's trying to. It's kind of like a stream. There's like a streaming found footage device where the whole movie is done through streaming.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. You're right.
And he's
up my alley.
He's like an amateur streamer or like a hopeful influencer. He wants to become an influencer, it seems. So he's basically streaming. He's trying to get content and views and everything, and he's basically playing to the trends. He's very much like a guy. He's going by like the basics, just trying to make it big, trying to get massive views. So essentially, the premise of the film is he gets this idea to use his Spree, which is like a ride share. It's like an Uber. Basically, their version of Uber is called Spree. And it's basically it has cameras built into his Uber cars, his Spree rideshare car that he drives. He picks up people and stuff. He's got cameras, he's got lights, and basically the whole movie is pretty much stationary to this thing for the majority of the film. And he basically the whole premise is he's killing his pickups to get views. So he's like a killing spree. So he's killing people just to get views.
Tell me this: is it framed as like a dark satire, like American Psycho style, or is it like genuinely like a horror movie, or what?
I mean, out of the two, it sounds like more the American Psycho thing. Only there's not like apparent like it's actually happening. That's the difference. Like, there's no question of if it's happening, like in American Psycho. But yeah, it's that's the thing. So it's basically it's a scary portrayal of society being desensitized to violence and murder and stuff again tied into social media and how that how that works. So that's interesting. Again, it's an interesting film. I was hoping it'd be a little more streamlined, but it is creepy as all get out. That's kind of the thing. It's like I think it really gets good by Act 3 to me. I'm not saying it's like again. I think we get the premise, and I think Act 3 really is where things get really intense and things kind of refocus back to where I was hoping it was going to go. It's it's pretty it's solid, but not one I would feel compelled to go back to. But again, I think you like it a lot. I'm not a horror guy either. Maybe I think that's a lot of it too, But had a good kind of like good gimmick, I suppose. And the ending and the credits are really unsettling. That's for me, accurate and unsettling are the credits of this one. The credits will make it feel really uncomfortable.
All right, Dragon. So it's time to get to a mystery movie of mine. Now, this movie came out early in the year. It's a movie that people have been raving about, kind of struck a chord with the general audiences, even if the critics were a little bit mixed on it. It's a revitalization of a franchise that's been around for decades. And it's even gotten some Oscar hype, or at least people saying that it deserves Oscar hype, even though it's not getting any. Dragon, I am, of course, talking about, you want to take a guess?
I got nothing.
Bad Boys for Life.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm just kidding.
What? Oh.
The Invisible Man.
Hey! Well, that wasn't this year. That was last year.
I was trying. Yeah, you're right. But I was trying to cue up like the similarities of like, okay, so it's like a franchise that's been around for decades, and it was enjoyed by the general audiences more than the critics. But Invisible Man is fucking fantastic, Dragon.
Right?
What the hell? Why haven't I watched this movie yet? Yeah, I don't even know what else to add to the conversation.
Well, you see what I was talking about, though. And remember, there's a group of people with a fear. I forget what it's called, but that fear of like basically that camera look, of that look. The whole
like fear that there's always someone like watching you. That you're never alone.
No. I mean, I'm sure there's that too. But I mean, like literally a fear of that pattern when we reveal what the Invisible Man looks like. It's like people have a fear of that pattern. So when they see him, when they actually see him, people are terrified. It's like an actual Slender Man to people with that fear.
Oh god, it's fucking Slender Man.
I know, Gild and the Lily.
Yeah, well, that's a lily I don't necessarily want to gild.
Or like a lilac, then. Okay. Well, yeah, so Invisible Man, you liked it then?
I liked it quite a bit. I'm not sure if I agree with the whole, like, it belongs in the best picture, give it the Oscars. But no, I liked it a lot. I feel like Dragon, at the very least, it's got to be by far the best, the best revitalization of a Universal monster that we've seen in quite some time.
Absolutely. What did you think of Aldous Hodge? The cop friend.
He was great. Great.
Remember, he was in. Remember, he was Jim Brown in the One Night in Miami thing.
Sure. Yeah, all around just solid cast, really good suspense, really inventive set pieces and scenarios. I had a good time with it.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
All right.
All right, so that brings us to Prospect. So this was on Netflix. This is I watched this for one reason. Pedro Pascal's in it. Yeah, so this is it's kind of a sci-fi Western send-up. Not a Western per se, but kind of a send-up to the old Western genre. So this is, so basically the story is you have this girl and her father, teen girl and her father. They're hired to go to this forest moon. It's very sci-fi. It's in space. Like they're like launched in a tube down to this forest moon planet. It's like, imagine Endor, but more toxic.
Gotcha.
It's like unlike Star Wars, they're stuck in spacesuits when they go out in this movie because again, like planets, not all of them inhabitable because you have like all these like flying toxic spores going around. So there's like a tension, like if anything happens to their spacesuits, they could die. So basically, these two they're hired to prospect for like gems via these by they have to dissect these organic plant creature things. That's where the gold and the gems are. So that's what they're there for. But then Pedro Pascal, he's like kind of like the bandits or the robbers from Treasure of the Sierra Madre. Like he's there like steal from folks, find gold himself, find riches and stuff. So he and his partner hold up the father, end up killing it. They kill the father, and the father shoots him. So he's like he has a hole in his spacesuit, so he's wounded. And the premise of the film is Pascal is paired up with the girl, and they have to kind of try to survive with each other. They have to, because their spaceship's been damaged. That means they can't just go. So they have to work together to get off the planet, get off the forest moon place. And it's just pretty much, it's kind of like, it's sort of like kind of a Western premise in a sense. I'll admit though, I wouldn't strongly recommend this because it's a real slow start. But when Pascal enters the film, things really improve. That's when things get good. Some real brutal scenes of Pascal dealing with the infection he gets from being shot in the arm with the spacesuit.
Oh God, those are always fun.
Yeah, it's a really like I don't want to just tell you what happens, but it's like it's not pretty. They don't show it. Here's the thing, they don't show it, but they describe it and you hear sounds. That's the thing. You don't see it, but it's nasty. It's a nice performance piece and a nice premise. It's just it's really slow. That's at the top. It's slow. That's the kicker. Once you get the pass, I'd skip the Pascal and then go forward.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's time to talk about Under the Boardwalk.
I've been meaning to watch this thing. Tell me about it.
It's fun. It's fun. I mean, it's not going to blow your socks off, but the interesting thing about this, Dragon, it's kind of a twofold. It's a documentary about Monopoly, the board game, not the McDonald's scam, but the board game. And I feel like twofold, it's a documentary that's an examination on why the game has stood the test of time for as long as it has, why it's a staple in American households the world over, how people associate it with positive memories with their parents for generations upon generations. But the more interesting side of the coin, Dragon, is you would not believe how cutthroat and competitive the competitive Monopoly circles are. And we really get to see that in action, especially in the second half of this documentary. And it kind of almost becomes like a King of Kong. Like, I don't want to say King of Kong, that's hyping it up too much. But these people really do have like some pretty huge egos in the room for this freaking Monopoly tournament. The really interesting thing is, Dragon, because I usually just played Monopoly with my grandma, so the idea of trading was pretty much off the table. But I mean, you can really get a very interesting game of Monopoly going on if you know, if you know the ins and outs of like how to trade, if you're playing with the right people who are self-motivated. I don't know. I just really like how the documentary just kind of like breaks down both those elements, kind of like the really cozy elements of it and the house rules and everything. And then also breaks down why they recommend playing with the established rules that come with the manual, just because, in all actuality, it probably, it speeds up the process because, for example, if you don't put any money on free parking, well, then that's just less money going to the players themselves, more of a chance of them to get bankrupt. If you think about it, having all those like big free parking jackpots is really just keeping people in the game longer. If the idea of the game is ultimately to bankrupt your opponent, then it really is just kind of like padding it out. So just interesting little game theory concepts all over the place with this thing. Interesting, it's an interesting exploration on fan culture in general. And like I said, it's not going to knock your socks off. It's probably not going to reveal too much that you didn't already know about Monopoly, but it's still definitely worth a watch. It's a pretty solid, fun little way to kill half an afternoon.
All right. Okay, that brings us to mine, which is Harlem Nights. So I watched this because we're coming out of Black History Month, in which we do a show called Black History Heroes, and we talked about Eddie Murphy, and I did some research on Eddie Murphy, and this film was available, and it really interests me because this is the only film in Eddie Murphy's career that he directed.
Okay,
So
interesting.
he directed, starred, and I think produced this as well. So he was highly involved in this. And this movie's really special. This is a film that's like it's a lost gem, man. This film's really nice. You have Eddie Murphy. It was a passion project for him because, of course, he's directing it. But it's three generations of iconic black comedian that each influenced the other. You have Red Fox, and this is Red Fox's last film, by the way. His last appearance, I guess. Red Fox, Richard Pryor, who was Eddie Murphy's influence, and of course Eddie Murphy. So three generations. They all tie into each other quite nicely. It's really a shame this thing didn't do better. It's a really well made film. It's a 30s period piece, like set in 1938. Richard Pryor is like he started off as like kind of a low level casino owner, like kind of backdoor craps games, to eventually owning his own casino as years went by. And it's kind of like Pryor and his he plays Sugar Ray. That's his character's name. Sugar Ray has a surrogate son, this kid who saved his life in the opening of the movie, who is played by Eddie Murphy, who basically is like Eddie Murphy's a kid, and then 20 years later, it's Eddie Murphy, who plays this character
I'm
called
getting
Quick.
some shades of Godfather with the plot you're laying out right here.
Little bit. There's a lot of
loyalty and everything.
Certainly, so there's very much kind of like a Tom Hayden quality there for sure. Very Tom Hayden from The Godfather, in a sense.
Right,
like, what if Tom Hayden was kind of mixed with Michael Corleone? If you mix those two together, sure. Yeah, it's they open a proper casino in '38, and like they're basically essentially they're doing so well, like they're clearing like probably like triple what other kind of guys in the casino business are, and they're making the white crime boss in the neighborhood really jealous, and basically jealous of the black man in the '30s, doing so well. So they're trying to muscle in on the action with their using their corrupt cops and everything, basically threatening to raid the clubs and everything. It's really old school. I can't call it's not a full blown comedy. It's a period piece with really funny scenes in it, really funny, authentic scenes that are quite fun. There's this hilarious scene where Eddie Murphy shoots somebody, but it was like kind of it was kind of like a response thing, where it was like a measured response where like he fights. There's something that would never hold up today. Okay, so Eddie Murphy's fighting a woman in this movie, but she started it. Okay, she started big woman, like punching him in the face, and they get like she pulls out a knife, he pulls out a gun, he warns her like, "Hey, you put that knife away, I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to shoot your toe off." It's ridiculous, but it's awesome, and they make up really later. It's really sweet. But this is what I'm saying: the film, it's just really cool to see Eddie Murphy in 30s Harlem, and he and Richard Pryor, they give a really sweet performance, again, real father-son quality, and the thing. Richard Pryor is really great. It's a sweet, funny, and really film with really clever moments. Like they pull a heist in the movie that's really clever. It's not like a whole heist movie. It's kind of a heist in the third act. It's kind of fits nicely in the things. Again, I really recommend this. It's a travesty, Eddie Murphy. He said if this film didn't do well, he would never direct again. It didn't do well, so he never directed again. I feel really bad about that because the film came together really nicely. It's just I don't think anyone saw it is the problem.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Nightmare Dragon. This is more up my alley because I have actually I haven't experienced sleep paralysis much in the same way that these people have, but my God, I know of it, and I know that it's real, and I know that it might not necessarily be real in the realm of like actual demons come in and haunt us.
Wait, did you watch this on Netflix?
Yes, I did.
Is the poster like the main image a guy in a red mask?
Yes.
Oh, I've flirted with this movie. I never watched it.
I think it's super creepy. So the whole idea of it, Dragon, is that sleep paralysis is essentially your mind playing tricks on you when you're asleep, and kind of just conjuring up these like really freaky, like worst nightmare kind of images that hit you as your body is in paralysis mode, which is, as scary as it is, that is part of the sleep cycle, is a part of the cycle where your body is paralyzed. So the idea is that like your body's paralyzed, but your mind is cognitive of this like nightmare creature that you created in your head. And I got to tell you, Dragon, some of the firsthand descriptions and accounts of it are downright fucking chilling. This I feel like is is easily, I feel like, the Room 237 director's strongest effort out of the 3 feature films he's done. Just because I feel like it really cuts to the heart of how these experiences have affected the subjects on an emotional and a mental level, and you really get to feel for their struggles, but at the same time, you really, the movie does an effective job of scaring you too with these recreations of these night terrors. So, Dragon, honestly, I don't think you'd be able to handle this.
That's fair.
Knowing knowing your tolerance level when it comes to horror. I mean, this movie scared me. I'll put it that way. This movie scared me. Not in the same way that a true crime movie coming up scared me, because that kind of scarred me more than scared me. But this movie scared me in kind of like a fun, sort of like haunted house kind of way, where that's the thing with nightmares, Dragon. And I'll end with this quote. That's the thing with nightmares. They're not actually going to physically hurt you, but goddamn it, they're not terrifying all the same.
All right, sir. I will take your documentary and I will raise you a familiar.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, time.
Oh yes, of course. This is a big one, man. This is definitely in contention for like the best documentary Oscar. So please do tell me, what did you think? I think it's just a little too depressing to be a documentary. It's like, you know what I want to watch? I want to watch Time, but I do think it's super well done. So what do you think of it?
All right, so of course for the folks out there, because maybe they didn't watch the last time when you brought up Time for that. When's the last? You brought up Time like last year, didn't you?
A few months ago, yeah.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, it would have to been like December,
like November or December, I want to say.
Yeah, it sounds right. Yeah, so just because it's been a while, basically, long story short, the documentary uses these black and white tapes as a wife is trying to make the case for her husband's release as she cares for their 6 children, and basically, the couple robbed a bank, and she was sentenced like 3.5 years. He was sentenced to 60, and it basically took 18 years to kind of put things in the works, really.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so it's like 18 years worth of tapes in black and white, and we kind of shoot the thing in black and white to add to the effect, which is a really interesting device. So yeah, I feel I'm a little mixed on this, because it wasn't quite what I was expecting entirely. I was expecting the tapes to be used a little bit more like that documentary I told you about, Rewind, on Amazon as well. It's a documentary, Rewind, that kind of uses the video aspect a little bit more. I think the central theme of this is disproportionate sentencing for African Americans. You have the husband and wife that robbed the bank. As I mentioned, she got far fairer sentence, and he got 60. And basically, the justice system, in my opinion, coming out of this documentary, it seems to me the justice system ignored the mitigating factors of the family and the children, potential reasons for said heist. And from what I can tell, no one was hurt or anything. But again, assumingly they brought guns, hence the robbery. I mean, I'm guessing usually don't walk in there and say, "Hey, I want money," and don't have guns. Rarely does that happen. I wish it happened like that, but it doesn't. But yeah, I mean,
what if I said please?
Yeah,
what if I said please with Zusto. Like,
where are those stories? Yeah, where are those stories? Can I have money? No. What if I said please? What if I said pretty? Okay, anyways, you get where it's going. Anyway, so I agree. 60 years, way too much. 60 years, that's absolutely disproportionate. However, here's the issue I have with the documentary, though. I do feel I'm watching this documentary. I'm thinking to myself, they really didn't address the fact that, well, they did rob a bank. There's a little bit more story there. We're kind of glazing her. Why did they rob a bank? Why? It's, I don't know, it feels like we're glazing over purely for the sentencing. And I think ultimately, yes, it's disproportionately. I think the guy probably should have got, I don't know, maybe somewhere between like 5 to 10 years or something. 5 to complement her 3.5 for like 10 years as a maximum. I'm throwing it out there. I don't know. But, because again, like there should be a punishment there for sure. I mean, again, robbed a bank.
Uh-huh.
At the very least, at the very least, whatever sentence they gave him, they should have guaranteed parole, which it sounds like that was not on the table. That's a problem for sure. Like, you give the guy parole at least against 6 kids. I mean, it's going to be harsh on anybody. Again, I love seeing the kids grow up. I love seeing the response to, like, and seeing that as a response to this family tragedy of like them having to grow up without a father, and then like some of the kids getting into the kind of the justice system of it all. Of like, we want to kind of represent the father who kind of got put away when he shouldn't have, or for out longer than he should have. I mean, I wasn't bad at all. I'm a little let down by
I'm
it.
of the same mind as you are with it, Dragon, and the fact that like it's it's not that it's not compelling. It's just it's a little bit just it's almost too real in terms of like it's not like I said, it's not something I'm anxious to go back to.
Yeah, I feel like the premise is too solid for them. I don't. It feels like they didn't quite do enough with it or something. It feels like it was a little. I don't know. It just feels like they could have. The narrative could have maybe been could have been stronger. I don't know. It was a compelling story for sure. The story is compelling. I just wanted more done with the framing device. Maybe that was it. But it's a little let down. Not crestfallen. I'm a little let down. Just given like I thought when you told me that time, I was really excited. And oh well.
Uh-huh. All right. Okay, let's see. Oh yes, we got some Bettany action in the house. Dragon, of course.
Yeah.
Paul Bettany making the rounds with WandaVision. By the way, I'm convinced that the whole well, we'll get there. We'll get there, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm convinced that what we were speculating in that reaction that may or may not actually happen is actually what happened with Paul Bettany saying what he said. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
But Dragon, Uncle Frank, this is a movie I've been meaning to get around to for quite a while, and Bettany kind of put me over the edge. And while I was definitely expecting the Vision charm, Dragon, there's an edge to Bettany's performance in this one, and I gotta say, the man is kind of a chameleon with this role. And this one was a lot like it wasn't what I was expecting because I was expecting it to be a lot more like kind of saccharine and like, oh, here's your stereotypical, like indie dramedy with a quirky main character. And it's kind of that, but it's a little bit more in some areas. And I feel like Bettany definitely adds the flavor to it. And his whole thing is that he plays an uncle who is he's outwardly gay in a time and a place, which is the rural South of America, that might not be too accepting of that, but his character is I don't know, Dre. It's just like it's a very good little character study, and Bettany just gets to kind of like show off his chops and not just be burdened down by the years of comic book backstory and makeup of the Vision. I feel like it's just kind of like a fun acting exercise for Bettany. I don't really like the movie. I feel like the movie kind of loses focus after a while. It's not really the most thrilling thing in the world. I feel like it's pretty slow paced, but it's a good showcase for Bettany. And if you're looking for that, I recommend it.
There's this Paul Bettany series. It always kind of stares me in the face, but I think after WandaVision, I might look into it. It's called Manhunt Unabomber. He plays the Unabomber. He plays Ted Kaczynski.
Oh, okay.
It's like a mini series it's on Netflix, but it always kind of interested me. But I mean, at some point, once after I do that, I might get to Uncle Frank. I'm not sure. All right. Okay, I got one. Here's an exciting one. Okay, this is one I'm really excited to tell you about.
All right.
Okay. The Polka King.
The Polka King. Oh boy.
Yes. Oh boy.
I mean, it sounds like it's up my alley. Is Weird Al Yankovic involved at all?
Afraid not.
Ah.
At least, I mean, I don't either produce. I don't know if he produced it. That's the only way he'd be in this movie if he produced it. But no. So this is fascinating. So this is a biopic that's based on a documentary about this polka Ponzi scheme. From there was a documentary in 2009 called "The Man Who Would Be Polka King," and this is a movie from 2018. This is great. Oh man, this was great. So do you remember? Does the name Jan Lewan ring any bells?
Can't say that it does.
Okay, so basically, it's like the polka band from Pennsylvania. Of course, when I say it, I think of like the polka and Groundhog Day, deep in the heart of that. And every time you go to the town square in Groundhog Day, they're playing the polka. And essentially, I don't know if it's based on these guys or what, but it's There was this cutaway gag in Family Guy where Peter's parodying when they got into the movie, when it started, like, oh, that's who that is. It's like this off cutaway from back when Family Guy was good, right? We're smoking now. He's just doing like the Poker King thing, like the champagne dance party thing. But I'm sorry, back to the movie. So basically, this is it's a Polish guy. This is kind of the guy who really kind of revolutionized the polka music, but did some shady stuff. A Polish man is pursuing the American dream through hard work and music as his dream profession. This man is Jan Lewan. He's played by the wonderful Jack Black.
Oh, okay.
Jack Black is great in this one. One of the great Jack Black performances. It's him, Jenny Slate is his wife, and one of your boys, Jason Schwartzman. He's kind of the number 2 man in the organization. He plays promising. He plays Mickey Pizzazz. He's like his number 2 guy. And I said, man, on the whole, this is like Nacho Libre with a solid story. Nacho Libre had a more solid story. It would be this. It's he basically, Jack Black. He's a family man. He brings an empathy to Lewan as this loving man with a passion, who's not at all a bad guy, but he gets in over his head. He starts a Ponzi scheme. He's like one of the early Ponzi schemes. It's like this clerical error on his part that then turns into like this opportunity for change moment of like, hey, he just gets so overtaken by people are investing in my polka band, and he kind of gets greedy, which it just kind of leads to the said Ponzi scheme, and it's kind of this. It's like, what if Madoff had a soul, and the con kind of paralyzed him after a while, where he just kind of he couldn't get out of it at a certain point, where it's like his optimism becomes delusion. It's fun, it's compelling, it's pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. It's my kind of Jack Black movie, I think you should really check it out. I think it's definitely one to look into.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so Beware the Slender Man. This one really fucked me up, Dragon. It really fucked me up. It's kind of like an opposite end of the Cecil Hotel, where I was also kind of involved in the case, but I didn't really know the intimate details of the case. And where the Cecil Motel, I think the details kind of add a little bit of a humanistic quality to it, and almost kind of makes the story sort of, I don't want to say inspirational, but it's kind of heartwarming that that she kind of gets to live on through those journals and kind of become a beacon of hope for people that might be struggling with the same thing. Beware the Slender Man, Dragon. The hope has just been crushed out and burned and stomped on, and it is just goddamn depressing. Do you know anything about this case?
Okay, remind me. So the name of this thing is Beware the Slender Man?
Yes.
I might have looked into it once. I mean, literally, I heard about this thing with the Slender Man once. I didn't get nearly far enough into it, so I'm really blind on it.
Okay, so essentially, it's this is a whole examination on kind of like how the internet messes with a kid's imagination, especially kids with undiagnosed mental illnesses, and the justice system, and how it can fuck it up, and how at the same time the kids with the mental illnesses are scary as hell and probably deserve to be locked up, but by the same time what they did was a product of a lot of bad things going on in their life, especially the like I said, the undiagnosed mental illness, which I do have a lot of sympathy for, Dragon. I really do. So this documentary just fucked me up. It really did. These girls were 12 years old when they did what they did. And I am not trying to forgive anything. Basically, they tried to stab a classmate to death as a sacrifice to the Slender Man, because they were just so deep into the Slender Man mythology that they just thought it was real. But Dragon, what this documentary does that's just absolutely devastating is it examines the effects of something like this on the parent side of things, and on how they have to keep up a brave face for again their children. Emphasis on the children, and
for the children,
and go visit them in adult prison where they're being tried as adults. And they have to keep up this brave face, even though they know they're probably not going to get out of prison for like decades, like literal decades. It is so depressing. It is so goddamn depressing, Dragon, and it got to me. It kind of destroyed me. It really kind of destroyed me. Um, I don't know. But as far as the documentary about Slender Man is concerned, I thought it was absolutely well handled. I feel like it explores the phenomenon of Slender Man in a really balanced and unbiased kind of way, where there's a lot of perspectives. That Slender Man is kind of like the ultimate, like he is the modern day boogeyman. He's the internet's urban legend, and I think that's super fascinating. But by the same token, obviously the case that this documentary is surrounded by just kind of, it's just this super tragic thing that, even though the three girls that were involved with the case are all alive, their lives are all ruined, their families' lives are all ruined, and you can literally trace Slender Man back to a guy who created it on some stupid forum in 2008. And it destroyed lives, Dragon. It destroyed families. I mean, oh God, it is crushing to watch. It is riveting. As far as the horror of it goes, Dragon, I feel like the only horror that you need to worry about is of the true crime variety in terms of just the like, oh man, that's super depressing. With the Slender Man stuff itself, they never try and like pretend like, oh, is Slender Man actually real? Like, no, it's like the horror is the fact that the girls were so undiagnosed in their mental illness that they completely went unchecked when they started to dive into Slender Man as much as they did. And yeah, like I said, Dragon, this is just a gut wrench straight to the heart. It really is. It kind of just tore me apart. I just felt nothing but sympathy for everyone involved in the situation, from the families to the victims to the girls who did it, because like I said, they Dragon, they're in psychiatric hospitals, so they're not in prison, but they are in highly guarded like psych wards, and basically for decades, like 20, 30, 40 years, which it's a gray area if they deserve to be in there that long. It seems harsh, but by the same token, what they did was
40 years?
40 years, yeah.
It's crazy.
But by the same token, you see that the stabbing that took place was absolutely premeditated to a scary serial killer degree. And that's where the harsh sentence comes from. So yeah, it's scary, it's devastating, it's kind of heartbreaking, but at the same time, I can't deny that it's riveting.
I definitely looked into this thing once. I remember it now. I
I'm
started it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right. Okay, so that brings us to the last film.
Yes. Go through this quickly, man.
Right. We have
Sorry, I just got a noise warning, so.
Mm-hmm. So we have Meet Joe Black. Of course, I watched this film because of the movie trailer documentary.
Uh-huh.
The Campia thing. So this, of course, this is the film either released opposite Phantom Menace or was the movie that got the Phantom Menace trailer. Because I looked at the years, it doesn't matter.
Got the Phantom Menace trailer.
Right. Thank you. Okay, that's what it was. That makes more sense. Yes. So yeah, this was directed by Martin Beast, the guy who did Beverly Hills Cop, or he did Midnight Run, did Scent of a Woman, and basically this is the film right before his career died with Geely. Geely killed his career. but yeah, so this is I found this is interesting. I'm fascinated by this movie. I found the movie quite pleasant and meditative. I don't really use that word though when I talk about a movie.
I like that.
It's so meditative because it's a 3-hour movie.
Oh, I had no idea it was that long.
Neither did I. It's a 3-hour movie. It requires a lot of patience. So I don't necessarily know if it's for you or not. But if you got like nowhere to be, you want to kind of meditate, just like a movie just to kind of have going on. I mean, sure, I guess. Sure. But I mean, again, you got to be really patient with it, though. He's got a great premise. Anthony Hopkins, he plays Bill Paris. It's his 65th birthday, and he's supposed to die. supposed to die, but death, the embodiment of death, takes the form of a recently deceased Brad Pitt, and basically takes an interest in this man. He's the Joe Black character. Joe Black
So
is Brad Pitt.
Like does it have kind of a Seventh Seal quality? Like, is it like a kind of an update on the general Seventh Seal premise?
I mean, I guess it's kind of like basically he takes an interest in the man. He wants to he strikes a deal with him, like, okay, you be my tour guide. I want to learn more. I'll go on vacation. You and I, you give me a tour of your house, your family, like just show me around life. I want to connect with humanity a little bit here. And basically, in return, you get to live on borrowed time. As long as I'm around, you're around. Basically, being the operative idea. It's the deal. And Anthony Hopkins, just the streamliners. Anthony Hopkins, he gives. I love his performance in this film. I could listen to Anthony Hopkins read The Phone Book, and this film is kind of a testament to that in a sense. In that, again, it's just kind of a man going through life for the first two acts, and it's just he's just so good. And it gets to the third act. The ending of this film is the third act and the big party scene is so phenomenal. This film, it's he gives like a speech you have like once in a career. He gives like an amazing speech about life, and it's a beautiful ending. And Brad Pitt, now Brad Pitt's the make or break thing of the film for people. Is that Brad Pitt's good but as Death, his whole shtick is that he's you have to be really. There's like a patient and slow aspect of the film is embodied in this character because he's new to life. He's learning about things. There's a lot of awkward pauses and silences with this film with that character as he's just taking it all in, and he's falling in love. There's a good love story in here. Again, some time dedicated to it, but it's a nice love story. It gets a little long in the tooth, but again. It's just I love how Joe Black becomes close with the Bill Parrish character, and again by Act 3 everything just clicks so perfectly into place. It's a good film, way too long for its own good for sure. Again, I wish I'd saw it without ads. The only way I could watch this thing because I've been waiting for it to stream for so long. It was on IMDb, so it had ads, which made it even longer. Yeah. But it was a good film. I'd watch it for Hopkins, man. If you ever don't watch it with ads, but you watch it without ads, watch it for Hopkins. It was a treat, but again, you gotta have to have a lot of patience for it. It's meditative but wonderful.
It doesn't sound like it'd be up my alley, but
yeah, probably not. But again, if you can ever watch the ending with Hopkins giving a speech, I'd do that much. But if you can ever find that, yeah.
All right, best and worst Dragon. Let's see. I'm gonna make things. I mean, honestly, a lot of stuff was pretty high caliber this month that I watched. Let me see. I think I'm going to go best. I'm going to have to go Judas and the Black Messiah. Honestly, I feel like it kind of knocked it out of the park. It shook up the Oscar race. It was genuinely heartbreaking. I would give a runner up to The Nightmare just because, like I said, it's pretty damn chilling. He really does do a great job with kind of describing the premise in a creepy kind of way. And then, honestly, Dragon, I didn't watch anything that was inherently like that bad. Honestly, like looking at my lineup, so I would say my worst, probably just by default, and this is not like a terrible movie by any regards, but it is just kind of a bunch of conspiracy theorists talking nutso things, and that's Glitch in the Matrix. But again, if you're into the Glitch in the Matrix theory already, definitely check it out. You probably already have. All right, Dragon, your best and worst.
Best for me, I mean, it's probably going to have to be Judas and the Black Messiah. That was really good. Yeah. It's kind of hard to beat that. I mean, if I had like a second, I mean, maybe the More Than Miyagi documentary, but de facto Judas was the best. Worst is tricky because I had some disappointments, but basically it was Time. I don't want to just say Time because Time isn't a bad movie. It's not. It's
that
just
would be really unfair to Time, just because Time. I know its very nature is like you don't really want to watch it, but you kind of feel obliged to watch it.
Yeah. So I don't know if Time is necessarily the right answer. It'd be kind of the petty answer. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I didn't have bad, but I had some that were either ones I wouldn't go back to. You know, like Major Look is not bad either, but you know, I mean, I think
Oh,
the fact
Major
of
Look, I would say that would probably be like out of yours. That might be a contender.
I mean, I'm tempted to say Prospect because you know, I mean, I like Pascal, but outside of that, it was just kind of like you know,
Uh huh.
yeah. I mean, I think de facto, I'm just gonna say because I mean, it's either it's. I mean, the harsh answer is Tom and Jerry, but you know, kind of the harsh and easy. I don't
I
want
was
his
honestly
pile.
kind of surprised that you didn't go straight to that.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, Tom and Jerry. It's you know. Oh, you know. Okay, here's what I forgot to mention this. I'm going to make it Tom and Jerry, and I'm going to tell you just one reason why.
Okay, why, really quick.
Okay, Tom and Jerry has a bad omen that opens it. It opens with rapping
Yeah,
pigeons.
it opens with rapping pigeons. Yes, I know of this. Yes,
There you
I've
go. So
heard.
that's. I'm gonna take the easy route. I'm gonna say Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry. All right, and it is done, and so it shall be. Okay, well, folks, we've waxed on long enough. It's time to put the pen down. Until next time, we return for another leading chapter in our
Movie
movie
Memoirs.
memoir.
Polka.
I am the Polka King, Nicholas Cage.